years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We back, man. You already know what time it is.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Man, you already know what time it is, man. It's the 50-50 Show with myself, PharoahNFL, obviously my guy, the Severe Raider. We're going live on both our channels. So if you haven't already, make sure to clock in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody pulling up. Man, another off-season edition of the 50-50 Show, man. We're going to get into it today. Obviously, there's a few things to talk about, man. Hey, former Raider Josh Jacobs. I mean, I think that's the biggest one that we found out earlier today. And him turning himself into the police, have some serious allegations and charges. We'll get into that conversation. But most importantly, obviously, we're going to talk about the Raiders.
Yeah.
Talk about the Raiders, man. We're going to talk about the team. Currently, and OTAs is currently underway. We talked a little bit about it last week. We'll get into some of the guys that are, they're standing out, and also the second-year breakout players. I think there's some conversation to be have there. And I want to get into some, I feel like we've talked about like the battles that we can see happening as now the offseason kind of getting settled, as far as, since it's after draft, after free agency. Now we kind of know, like, all right, where are the real battles happening? Obviously, quarterback, we talked about offensive line. We'll talk about the other position battles that might be happening as well, too. We'll get into that as well. Obviously, flag on the play, notable quotables, all that good stuff, man. But like I said, clock in. If you haven't already, man, if you're just joining us, your first time joining us, definitely clock in, which means just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on both channels, not just one channel. And hit that notification. If you're watching a replay as well, definitely leave a comment. Let us know what your thoughts on the Raiders, the team, conversation, all that good stuff. And if you guys happen to see a hype button anywhere, definitely hit the hype button, man, and it'll be very much appreciated. Helps supports the channels. Let's get into it, man. You can kind of starts out the conversation. He says, I was afraid Brady was going to meddle too much. It's becoming true. Okay. Everybody's talking about Brady. All right. Hey, look. Yeah. Brady's always been a guy that I'm like, I'm hoping for the best, but it can go left real quick.
Right.
He says, also, I'm out on Brady. He meddles more than Woody Johnson, Jets owner. Alex Guerrero messing with McCoy rehab. Yeah, I do see that Alex Guerrero is kind of like involved in, you know, McCoy coming in, and I know they have like him on a, snap count in
basically,
OTAs. They're not, which I have no problem with, but Guerrero has a high position within the team. I mean, as far as I just don't like him doing anything outside of his job description. That's when I heard stuff that he was doing, like, early in the offseason, we heard Alex Guerrero was an issue. I was like, come on, man. This is peak Raider dysfunction right here. Like, he's doing something that he's over here informing players of the release, and like, he's just like, who, like, hey, bro, you're the trainer.
Wasn't he threatening players too?
Yeah. I was like, whoa, okay, calm down, buddy. Calm down, man. Yeah, McCoy, sleeping giant. That's a sleeping giant right there. If he's healthy and ready to go this year, he's going to be a player that obviously is going to make a big impact on that defense. Yeah. He's going to have to go out there and prove it, but the talent is there. The talent is there. Salute to everybody. Put my guy Raider Way in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. Salute. TK makes a point here. He says, yeah, this sucks for Spy Tech because if we do well and turn things around, Brady will get all the praise. If we don't turn things around, Spy Tech will get all the blame. In some ways, but I think Spy Tech will get praise.
Yeah.
As well as blame. Because I don't think Brady's making every pick. I don't think Brady's making every trade. I think what's happening is that when there's a big move, I think Brady is they're going to check in with Brady and let him know what it's about. But I think the day-to-day stuff, Spy Tech is, we got to give Spy Tech some credit.
Yeah.
We also have to hold him accountable too. So it goes both ways. Yeah. I just don't want like Brady to be, I don't think it's that yet. I don't feel that way yet, where I feel like Brady he has his hand on every move, every little, I don't think it's there yet. I think there's been signs of it a little bit, because when we heard about the Chip Kelly situation, we're like, oh, okay. But I don't think he's being the de facto GM, and Spy Tech is just their name.
Yeah, I don't think Brady has been public enough with his involvement. I think that, and he could be playing it smart, where as TK said, he could, like, if the Raiders start doing well, then all of a sudden he'll be out. Hey, I was a part of this. Yada yada. It's my people. But if the Raiders don't do anything, he's gonna stay quiet in the background. I'm doing my broadcasting stuff. I own a stake in the team, and that's it. But if things turn around, then obviously with his connections, there'll be stories written about it. Maybe even a story from Diana Rossini. Diana Rossini write a story about Tom Brady involvement with the Raiders. But seriously though, I think right now he's gonna play it cool. He's not gonna be too much in front of the cameras, and he'll let Spy Tech kind of have his moment to be the front man. But if things turn around, obviously, a lot of the media, they will start to point to, oh, well, Tom Brady's ownership, or this is the Tom Brady era with the Las Vegas Raiders. So, but that kind of remains to be seen.
Yeah. I don't want to get into it too much. I'm still waiting to see, because there's so much things that we have to see play out with the team, and I don't even think Brady wants to do that. I don't think Brady wants to be a GM.
Oh no.
I think he wants to be involved in some way. Like, he's a competitive guy, but I don't think he's there yet. I mean, like, he has a lot on his plate. Obviously, he's still he retired from the league. You know, one of the biggest things he wanted to be around his kids. Then obviously he's a commentator as well, and now he's the owner of the Raiders. I think in some ways he's involved, but I think his involvement is, this is how I want it to be. Just hire the guys that will be able to do the job, and then every now and then you check in. Hey, everything good? Everything working out? That's it. I don't want him to be like making like decisions based off of making full-time decisions, and he's part-time. You know, if we're being honest.
Nah, facts.
Man, you got to go, man.
People, yeah, I saw that a few times.
The temp was crazy. I had to say, I was like, what? But was good. If you just pull it up, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell. You know, we just started the show off with like Brady and Spytek and the dynamic with the team. That's how we start the show, I guess. Everybody want to. My guy, Are You Ken kind of started off the show crazy.
Yeah, he came out guns blazing.
Nah, facts. But yeah, man. Salute, man. Yeah, appreciate you coming through, Venomous, man. It's all good, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Give you a little Raider salute. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Salute to the nation. Salute to the night crew. Salute to the night crew pulling up, man. We appreciate y'all coming through, man. You already know, man. Make sure to clock in. Come through, clock in, hit that like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. So let's get into it, man. So I would say the number one guy that's standing out, obviously, everybody's looking at Gerard McCoy. Everybody's looking at him. We're hearing a lot of good things about second-year player in Jack Besh. I think that's a good thing. And then Mendoza's been looking good, you know. But it's still early. Everybody's in shorts. Everybody's going to look good around this time of year. But to me, the big thing is like Besh. Can he carve out a role in his second year? You know, that's going to be huge. And I guess we can just like kind of, you know, segue into like second year breakout players. Who's your second year breakout player on this team?
I mean, for me, because obviously, you know, the reason we're talking about this is because there's a lot of Raider fans that have aspirations for this team having success, right? They want this team to go 500. Some of them have the Raiders already in the playoffs, right? I've seen some people say the Raiders are going to go win 10 games, going to be in the playoffs. In order for that to happen, obviously, you know, we have our free agent acquisitions that a lot of us, you know, were fans of. We had our draft that a lot of people in Raider Nation were fans of. But, you know, even with all those acquisitions, you know, the biggest jump for us as a team is going to have to come from guys that were already on their roster, because obviously we didn't do enough to fill every hole on the team. So, I mean, one of the guys I'm looking at to have a big jump from last year to this next upcoming year is Tonka Hemingway. That's the guy I'm looking at, to a guy that's going to be on that rotation on the defensive line. Whether it be a 3-tech, whether it be a 5-tech, I think he's a guy that, you know, toward the end of the year, he started to get a little bit of run. I kind of like what I saw from him, and I think he's going to be able to carve out a pretty substantial role on this defensive line. And, you know, we kind of cleared the way by getting rid of guys like Tyree, getting rid of guys like Lucky Fotu. Like, those guys are no longer here to kind of, you know, obviously Christian Wilkins was already gone, so we didn't have to worry about that. So I think he'll have an opportunity to really make some headway this year. And especially, like, you know, because you think about, like, if we're running the true 3-4, Malcolm Kuntz is probably more of an outside linebacker in that defense, as is Kieran Crawford, more of an outside linebacker on that defense. So Like, he's going to be a 5-tech if we're running a 3-4. And I think he's one of the few guys on this team that can play it and still offer you a little bit of pass rush as well. So I'm expecting a nice year from him this upcoming year. And that's a draft pick that at the time I really wasn't a big fan of.
Surprised you didn't say Ashton Jeanty as a breakout player, man. That's like one of your guys. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would say like Ashton Jeanty, everybody's excited to see him in this offense, and see how it looks like. I think he's going to be an obvious guy that people can expect to maybe break out even more than he did his first year. Go over 1,000 yards, probably finish with kind of would you put him in the ballpark for at least 1,400 to 1,500 all-purpose yards, maybe?
That's about what he did last year. Like, he did like 13 last year.
He did like 12, 13, 1,300?
13 last year, yeah.
Yeah.
So I need more than that.
We'll see. I know he's talking his talk about, having his usage as much as McCaffrey, but I wonder how it's going to look like when he adds another running back. Because everywhere he's gone, he's kind of like had a healthy mix of running backs.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But I'm gonna throw in Jack Besh, man. I'm gonna throw in Jack Besh. Jack Besh, this is a big year for him. And I think for him, this is an offense that he could fit in right in. I think they're probably gonna use his skill set a little bit more than what the last coaching staff was able to do. Now, we talked about this like before we went live about, the problem with Jack Besh is just the fact is like you got a number one option in Brock Bowers who's going to occupy the same part of the field and probably same part of the field that where you would want like a Jack Besh beat to be in. So that's where, you're going to have to see where this is where Kubiak gets paid the big bucks. He's going to have to figure that out. But yeah, I think Besh could be that breakout player. Because I think if he gets a real shot, real opportunity, and this coaching staff is all in on him as far as him as a player, because it almost felt like he was in a doghouse. But I don't know. It just seemed like the coaching staff was not a fan of Jack Besh and some of the players in the draft class, because they were given like there were certain times where it's like, okay, the Raiders are like 2-6. They're like how many games have they won and they still are not playing young players? It's like, what are we doing here? What are we trying to figure out? But it is what it is. My guy 805s. I need 4,500 all-purpose or bust. What up, fellas? It's good, man.
I think you meant 1,500, or maybe even doesn't mean fair. Like, look, I need at least 1,200 on the ground, and I need another like 5 receiving. Because I don't think Kubiak, because I think we kind of discussed last show, I don't think Kubiak was saying he plans on using Ashton Jeanty like Christian McCaffrey, or he sees him as Christian McCaffrey. I think he was saying that, there's a lot of talk about this timeshare, and that a guy like Christian McCaffrey, who I've coached before, he rarely came off the field. So if you prove to be a player of that caliber, then I won't take you off the field. But if you don't, well, guess what, brother? You're going to see this 60-40 split, this 45-55 possibly, right? So, like, if you prove that you're worth it to keep on the field at all times, and he should have the skill set, right? I think he's underrated as a receiver. I think last year he made tremendous strides in pass protection. He was much better, especially like after that first like quarter of the season. I think he was much better down the stretch of the season than he was, and it basically really than any time at Boise. So that should give you an option to be able to stay on the field on third down. So at this point, man, it's about what do you do when the ball is in your hands, and too often he didn't do enough when he had the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and another guy like a dark horse. It's just, man, but this is more of like I'm hoping for it, because I know I brought this up the last show around the Shield, and I was like, man, I want Charles Grant, and shout out to my guy Juan. He was like, hey man, like at this point, I don't care who it is, whoever's playing well, let him play. But I just like the idea of Charles Grant getting a real opportunity to play, and if he's able to win out, that scenario is a great scenario to be in. As far as his skill set, you could see like maybe the potential there, as well as like, all right, now you got a 3rd round pick that you is starting, and now because we've kind of seen what Glaze is, we'll see what this coaching staff thinks. I mean, I think we'll get into our battles in this upcoming season as far as like position battles, but I think I want Charles Grant to get a real shot at right tackle, but we'll see. We'll see if it happens. But but yeah, to your point, I thought about it because he did rush for like Genty rushed for like 900 some yards,
975 something like that.
Had almost like 400 receiving yards. So all right, if Kubiak cooks something nice on offense, if the Raiders have something nice on offense next season, then it's not too crazy to say that he can get 1,500 to 1,600 yards total yards.
Yeah, see,
because you're Look, let's say in this offense with let's say the offensive line play got better offense overall. So then he gets 200 to 300 extra more yards rushing than he got the previous season, which was like a struggle. It felt like when we were rushing the football, like everything was hard. So that's like like you said, 1,200, 1,200 rushing yards. Then you factor in the pass game. I think that's where, he had like almost 400, like 350 receiving yards, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Around there, right? So you add like another 100 or 200 receiving. That's possible, especially because we don't have a number 1 receiver outside of obviously Bowers.
Outside Brock, yeah.
But then after that, you're like, oh, whoever's hot. You know what I mean? Like, Genty's going to get the rock. Like, they're going to try to figure out to get the ball to their best players on offense, and that's Bowers and Genty. And Genty's kind of shown that he can catch the ball at the backfield. So does Kubiak take advantage of that? And if he does, there's potential. So I can see 1,500 to 1,600 yards being like on the, like being like the floor.
If that's the floor, I take that as a floor. But man, for you to justify that pick, I need 17 to 18. I need 17 to 18, man. Like you were a top 10 pick at running back in the deepest running back class ever. I need 17 to 1,800 all-purpose yards from you. On efficient too. I need like over 4 yards to carry. So, like I can't. He said no, 45. That's why I need that, man, because especially now we brought in these gurus of running the ball. Rick Dennison, Clint Kubiak, like we brought in guys that's their wheelhouse is getting production out of the run game, and they were able to put up 2,000 something yards last year with lesser running backs, and K9 and Zach Charbonnet, right? So the fact that they were able to produce those kind of numbers with those guys, like those guys were drafted. I think K9 was drafted they might have both been drafted in the second. Zach was drafted in the second for sure. Kenneth Walker was drafted in the second or the third. So like they're like guys that were drafted later rounds than the top guy we have. No, they weren't Heisman Trophy winners. They didn't come in with all the pomp and circumstance that Ashton Genty came in with all the expectations that Ashton Genty came in with the, people saying he was the next Barry Sanders and he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So, like, I want massive production out of my top 10 running back. And if I don't get that, I'm going to be sorely disappointed, especially when we got guys that are, in the division that have produced, right? Or have the potential to produce, and Omarion Hampton and RJ Harvey, and and the guys in the AFC, and Quinshawn and Travion, like all those guys are poised to have big seasons this year. So I kind of need that out of Genty.
Yeah, we'll see, man. There's a lot of moving parts, but yeah, that's the hope, man. Hopefully he has a big year next year. Obviously, with Bowers and basically him being like the top 2 options on offense. whether it's running the ball or even receiving the football. And that's another thing too. Like we haven't like Kubiak, man. That's another thing too. I want to see Kubiak really show out next because I want to see the creativity. Like, because now we have we feel like we have one of the best offensive minded coaches in football. I mean, he has to go out there and prove it as a head coach. But the way he was able to coach that side of the football last year and some other, I mean, you could say the Saints a little bit. We kind of seen there. I mean, he kind of was on that. He was on that 49ers coaching staff, but then how much of that was, Shanahan, that offense, and he just coming in there kind of like soaking everything in. It's just like his brother is doing right now in San Francisco right now. He's the current OC. But yeah, I want to see what it looks like. But hey, if he's able to be exactly who we think he can be as a offensive minded coach and play caller, then he's going to put a lot of these players in positions to succeed. And that means like guys like Bowers, if anybody loves playing fantasy football, Bowers better be like a top 10 pick, I would think. You know what I mean? Like that's
kind of rough.
I'm telling you,
tight end.
I know tight end, but I'm just saying he's literally gonna get the rock like almost every play. And it's not like Bowers in like the head coach is Pete Carroll. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I feel you.
Kubiak is literally gonna be cooking something up this entire offseason for Bowers to get off. Just like he did with JSN. Because JSN was a good player. It's not like JSN came out of nowhere. We just didn't think JSN was 1,800 yards receiving. Like, what the hell? Like, that's what a Kubiak was able to unlock with JSN.
Yeah.
Because before last season, I think the previous season he had like 1,100 yards receiving, 1,200 yards receiving.
Something like that. Yeah. It wasn't that big of a year.
Yeah, it was a good year, but not like 1,800 yards. That's elite. Obviously, they're calling him the best in the league. So imagine what he can do with Bowers. Like, the sky's the limit. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts as far as like the players that are around him. We kind of talked about this for the show. Like, in order for this to work, the role players got to be role players and do their job.
Yeah.
So I know someone in the chat was like their breakout player next year. I mean, we're talking about second year breakout players, but someone was talking about Trey Tucker. Standing out in OTAs, but we'll see. We'll see if that translates.
LS going with JPJ. It's like what third year. JPJ third year.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets a foothold at guard. I mean, everybody knows I'm a big Charles Grant fan. That was my guy. But I was a big fan of JPJ too, especially at the center position. But now he has a home. Should be at right guard. I think that's where they have him now. If that's where they're going to play him, might as well keep him there. Like I preferred him at left guard because he has Colton Miller, to his left, and he has Linderbaum to his right. So he's between two experienced players, and I think that will do wonders for him as a player. But they prefer to just keep him on that right side where he got most of his experience last year. So if he has a comfort level at that position, I mean, I think obviously he'll succeed, barring some health issues. And that's something that's kind of slowed him down his rookie year and last year as well. But then, we talk about health issues. Brock Bowers is a guy last year coming into the draft. Brock Bowers, health issues. Then he was relatively healthy as a rookie last year, health issues. So, is he going to be a guy that gets tagged as injury prone coming up here? Because people like to pick and choose who they throw that tag on, who they throw that injury tag on, right? Like injury prone tag. They will, if it's a guy they like, I'm not gonna say anything about it. But Brock, injury coming into the league. He's injured last year, his second year in the league. So he's about a 50% injury rate right now, right? So does that continue? Does that happen going forward, or does he kind of get that nipped in the bud? Because if he doesn't, we could be a I don't want to say a Brandon Roy situation, but a situation where we're looking like, damn, man, if only Brock had been healthy his entire career, right? So I don't want that for him. And obviously, That's why we have Alex Guerrero here to make sure that doesn't happen. So we'll see if that pays dividends.
Yeah. I think this is why the good teams, they have depth. So even when one player goes down, they're still going to be, especially like on offense. Like if you think about it, you could helpless predict next offseason being the offseason where they get like a whole bunch of weapons to put around. Because Trey Tucker's his last year on his deal. Obviously the receiving core, we know what it is like. So I think they're going to probably use free agency and like the draft to like probably address that wide receiver room. But it's all dependent on what happens this year too, to a certain extent. I know they got Jalen Naylor, so that's another guy too that Raiders, they signed him to a deal, they paid him, but it's not like they broke the bank for a guy that's going to start. Like it's kind of a cheap deal for a starter, because Jalen Naylor, would you say is like a projected starter on offense? You know what I mean? Like,
he has to be.
But he's getting paid $12 million a year. Yeah. If you look at like, that's not even, let's forget about number one receiver money. That's not even number two receiver money.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
But that's like, no, but he's by far the highest paid receiver on our team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it was a gamble for the Raiders, but if it works out, it might be looked at as like, let's say if he balls out, it might be looked at as like kind of a Darren Waller type deal. Or like, damn, you got a player that's productive on a cheap deal. Similar to, I guess you probably could say to what was the receiver last year that we traded at the deadline?
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers, he was on a good deal.
Yeah, facts.
Based off like, what we're using him for in the production we're getting out of him, like, oh damn, like he's playing well for us, and we had him like on a pretty good deal for what we had him as. His role was basically the number two guy, and they kind of moved him around like inside, outside. And then he eventually got like what, $20 million a year, I think, at least.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, like around $20 million a year. Around $20 million a year.
So yeah, that's the going rate, man, for good number two receivers, man. You gotta get it. Just 20 mil or up. That's pretty much. That's like you're not gonna get anything less than that. Anything less than that, then it's like a gamble. You're kind of like gambling, like you're either betting that he could recapture whatever he did in the past, or you're betting if he can take the next level, which that's what the Raiders are doing with Jalen Naylor. Yeah. So, but yeah, the second year guys to me are, Jack Besh, Dante Thornton. Man, I'm kind of like, it's hard for me to even say he's gonna be a breakout player, to be honest. I'm hoping he had a great offseason and he proves this coaching staff has a great plan for him. Unlike the last coaching staff, like they just literally put him on the outside and you're big and fast. You're the X receiver.
Yeah. Bro. The problem I have with our wide receiver core is that first, like, we're depending, it's a lot of like hope and prayers out there, right? It's a lot of like, man, it's Jalen Naylor, hey, if this guy, he was a third receiver for the Vikings, and they have two really good receivers in front of him. So, maybe he's better than what we saw. Maybe I hope. But I'm thinking like, well, the Vikings, they didn't. I mean, obviously, $12 million that's a nice chunk of change, but like, not like it didn't seem like they really fought to bring him back. So it's like, so what is that? Because I don't know what Jordan Addison is getting. I don't know if he got paid already. We know Jettis, obviously he got his bread, but. So it's like, not like they made a crazy run at him. Like they felt his service. They felt he was expendable. Then Trey Tucker, his fourth year in the league, we're looking for like a fourth year breakout out of a guy. So it's like, to this point, I think his highest receiving year was last year. It was like 600 some yards. It's like that's what, that's what we depending on. We depending on Jack Besh. Jack Besh had one. I think he had two. I think he only had one season his entire collegiate career over 500 yards, right? And that was his last year at Texas Tech, where he's like 1,095 or something like that. Like, we're depending on him to be a breakout guy. Yeah. It's like, we drafted you in the second round, and now we're saying we have to like scheme you open and put you in these weird roles to get the most out of you. It's like, all right, like, this is what we're doing with a second round pick now. And then it's like Michael Mayer. Obviously, Michael Mayer, he's been a tremendous disappointment. But it's like, where is he falling on the pecking order, right? Like, technically, he's probably still a better player than Tucker and Besh, but he's on the last year of his deal too. So, like, are we going to prioritize getting you touches, at the expense of maybe a guy like Besh or maybe a guy like Thornton? Because
he's a
what
better
sense would
player
that
based
make?
off what? He's a better player.
I mean, coming as a prospect, I think he still is. None of them have really done anything. Trey Tucker has done the most, but I think the most highly regarded prospect would have been Michael Mayer. You could say who's had the best career so far, probably Trey Tucker. We already know Jack Besh is he's only 1 year in the league, so I think it's just all things evening out. I would say Michael Mayer is probably still the most talent of those guys, but he's likely going to walk after this year, right? Because why are we bringing you back, brother? It makes no sense. So I don't know. There's a lot of question marks on this offense that it's going to take a lot for this team to be productive on the offensive side of the ball. And the hope and the prayer is that Clint Kubiak, who's can really has had one real successful year as an offensive coordinator. Now, obviously, it was the ultimate success as offensive coordinator, but he's at that 1 year. So we're trusting this guy with that one major year of success to come into this team and take all these people who have never really performed before, outside of Brock, who never really performed before at the NFL level, and to turn this offense around with the Kirk Cousins, who's on the decline, a steep decline in some people's opinion, or Fernando Mendoza, who is, we don't know what he's going to look like at the NFL level. We don't know what he's going to look like taking a snap at the, from under center at the NFL level. So it's all these question marks. So that's why it's like it's a tough spot for the Raiders to be in, because they don't have any proven weapons on offense outside of Brock. And if you stop Brock, who do you turn to after that?
If you play the numbers game, some of those guys is going to play good enough, well enough, compliment Brock Bowers enough, and some of those guys are not. And they're going to but like I said, man, it's really is going to be next offseason where they're going to address the entire supporting cast on offense to surround basically, Genty and Bowers and that offensive line and Mendoza, getting all those pieces, because they kind of went all in on the defense basically this offseason. And I think they're still going to address different parts of the football team. Let's say if they pick in the top 5, top 10, let's say they pick in the top 10, right? There's a pass rusher on the board. I could easily see that being the first round pick. To be honest with you, easily see that, or even offensive line, right tackle. Yeah. If there's a good or to great tackle prospect on the board, do the Raiders pull the trigger?
Hell yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But it's all dependent on what it's kind of early to say, because if we're saying it right now, we'd be like, hell yeah. But if we, let's say next season, Grant, Glaze, or, my guy Bueno is talking about Zune, balls out at tackle, who was seen getting some snaps at tackle and OTAs at right tackle, which is kind of interesting. But I think they're going to they're going to try him out everywhere. We'll see how as OTAs and the offseason progresses and training camp. But everybody talked about his versatility, center, guard, tackle. I think his spot to me will be at left guard, if anything, but he might be a backup to begin his career till he gets a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
If they're gonna play him at guard, especially.
Yeah. I mean, the way they're moving him around makes me believe personally. Now, it could be two things, right? They could be, let's find what his best position is and then stick him there. But the amount that they're moving him around, it just seems to me that they want him to be a backup at several spots. That's what it looks like to me to start his career. Swing tackle, swing guard, and they want to be able to have as much flexibility on the players they have active on game day. So if you have a guy that can fill in multiple roles, like a Zoom, that kind of allows you to, I don't have to carry all these tackles or all these guards. I can have extra linebackers for special teams. I can have extra wide receivers up in case, disaster strikes. I can have some more tight ends. I can, I can have more corners up. Like I can do these other things instead of, and not have those spots dedicated to offensive linemen. So, but like I said, it's still early. It could be a situation where they haven't found, they're still trying to identify what his best spot is. And once they identify, they'll stick him there. That's a possibility too. But right now, it just seems to me that they just have him kind of locked in as a backup until further notice.
Yeah, we'll see. Zune is kind of intriguing, but we'll see how it shakes out. I think that he's a guy that, as time goes on, hopefully he could be a possible starter. But there's guys we haven't even mentioned, because we're on that topic of second year guys. We didn't talk about the Caleb Rogers. You kind of brought up Charles Grant. You brought up Tonka Hemingway as a guy that you can probably foresee being a breakout candidate, a second year breakout candidate. JJ Pegues is a guy who also might figure into the nose tackle, D tackle room. So he's going to be in the rotation. We'll see how it shakes out, as far as if he is able to stand out enough to get like good amount of snaps at a D tackle, especially at nose. But we'll see. I think those are the only guys. I mean, I'm not going to put Dante Thornton in there. I think Dante Thornton, his first year, it just seems like he's a big project. And for me to just project he's a breakout candidate, he would have to be basically be killing it in OTAs and mini camps and training camp, as well as even preseason, for me to be okay, maybe there's something there. Maybe they can find him a role. But right now, I just don't see it.
But remember last year, right? Remember last year, who was a player that they said was highly impressive through a lot of OTAs and stuff like that? They were saying Dante Thornton was impressing, right? And we were okay, where's Jack Bech? Why come we not hearing nothing about Jack Bech? And then we assume you know what? It's not really Jack Bech time, right? Because he's not a fast guy. He's not a quick twitch guy. Once the pass come on, that's Jack Bech. That's Jack Bech time. And then we waited, right? And then Jack Bech time never came. So it's so it's, so we don't know what we have. And it could be a situation, I know we talked before the show, where it's these coaches weren't putting Jack Bech in the most opportune situations, and giving him the opportunity to take advantage of what his skill set is, which is being, kind of a physical route runner, being a guy that, is able to use physicality to create separation. So maybe that coaching staff didn't do enough of that. Or maybe Jack Bech is just, maybe Jack Bech is just not what we thought he would be. And that's a possibility as well. And it's also a possibility that, Dante Thornton, year 2 in the NFL, those physical traits are still those physical traits, right? He's still 6'5", still running 4.3, still can't jump for shit, but he's still fast. So, maybe he can be a guy that we can use, in the vertical passing game, and we can take advantage of him that way with, deep outs, or, deep posts, and, obviously 9 routes and deep digs. Deep comeback routes, if he can learn how to, decelerate, maybe we can use some of that stuff to this second year. And I'm guilty of it too, because I think Dante Thornton, he's been kind of an afterthought for me too, and was who's gonna be a breakout player? Big Jack Bech, maybe Trey Tucker, maybe, and then Dante Thornton, nah, I don't see it. But you never know. It's a possibility. With it's always a hope. And that's why Raider fans love the offseason so much, because there's always hope. There's always the possibility that a fourth round guy can be a Max Crosby. Yeah. But then there's also the possibility that the fourth round guy can be Tyree Gillespie too. Yeah.
So. For me, I just want to be clear. My breakout candidate is definitely Genty, but he's the obvious obvious answer, because he's going to be getting the ball a lot. He's going to be in Kubiak's.
He's the better B.
Yeah, but Bech is kind of the guy, there's a little bit of I don't know, maybe, maybe he fits his offense. Yeah, hey, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, so I think Besh can be a guy that can break out. I like Tonka Hemingway as well. We'll see where do you see him kind of, do you see him going inside on obvious passing downs? Like,
Yeah.
Especially because with Max coming back, I think that kind of changes a lot. And that's why, like, they didn't prioritize maybe getting like a true nose. Maybe if Max was traded, maybe they might have gotten like a nose tackle in the draft. But with Max coming in, I think maybe, especially the depth they have at edge, like it kind of makes everything kind of a little bit different for them to put certain players out there. But who is Tonka a guy that you think they'll go inside?
Yeah, he's gonna play inside. He'll play inside. He'll play three tech, 5 tech. Him and Jonah will kind of play that role. So I think he'll be battling out with Jonah. And Jonah is a guy who I think Jonah's gonna have a smooth little year himself as well. I just think that, you know, Tonka didn't get a lot of playing time last year until late in the year, and when he did, he flashed. So I think just having more of the opportunity, taking snaps that probably would have gone to a guy like a Tyree, or, you know, maybe taking some of the snaps that, well, Snowden kind of played a weird role last year, but like just being on the field more. I think just being on the field more, I think his talent will shine through. In terms of JJ Pegues, that's a mystery too, because it seems this regime, I thought maybe, sometimes when we pranked him, we kind of thought maybe that's a Pete Carroll pick. Yeah. But look at who we have, you know, who we've brought in since, like the 2 D tackles we brought in, they both fit that same kind of body type, right? Where it's like 6'1", 6'2", 330-ish, like kind of a squatty body at nose tackle type. So, you know, like maybe that's what Spy Tech likes. Maybe that's what Robbie Leonard likes. So maybe that does, you know, kind of favor JJ Pegues getting on the field a little bit more. I still think Adam Butler will be the primary guy at nose tackle. I think Thomas Booker will play a little bit of nose tackle too. He played a little bit last year, but you know, I think JJ Pegues could see some run there as well.
Yeah. My guy Reese saying maybe there might be something to this, man. He says Kubiak doesn't smile or show emotion, but talking about Bowers and Mendoza, he smirks. He's all business with Genty. Is he looking at? What do you think about this, man? Do you think that there's something to this, or it's just?
I think he is the blandest on the planet. He's bland as hell. I don't think he really don't show no emotions.
Yeah, he's a good poker player, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like,
nah,
if he brought him to play poker, man, he would have a poker face.
It's. I mean, I'm starting to get used to it, so I don't. It's not as jarring as it was before, you know. So he's the coach at this point, so like I really don't care. As long as he gets to most out of these players, I don't care. I don't care if he smirks, if he frowns, if he smiles, if there's a smile upside down. Like, I don't care. You just coach a good offense. That's all I care about. But I'll peep that, because I know we talk about Brock. He said Brock was like from football heaven or something like that, or something crazy.
Real quick, man. I gotta do you real quick.
First of all,
You can't get a little excited there, man, when you talking about D tackle, 6'1" D tackle.
Hey, teach his own, brother. Teach his own. I'm not here to. What the kids say, I'm not here. I'm not here to yuck your yum, brother.
Hey, man. Hey, we appreciate everybody coming through. Night crew in the building, man. Definitely clock in if you haven't already. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Yeah, I mean, those are the guys that we could foresee having maybe having a breakout year. It's kind of early. We'll see as the off season continues. The mini camps, the mandatory mini camp is actually coming up. I believe June 9th to the 11th. Is where they have mandatory mini camp, and then from there it's going to be a little bit of a break until training camp, which is like I guess for first year head coaches, it might be late July, as early as late July.
Yeah, for the training camp,
maybe a little bit earlier than some of the regular teams, just because
he's first year head coach.
And the reason why it's kind of messed up why I know this. Just because we've seen so many first-year head coaches with the team,
man, yeah.
They kind of get some, like, I guess healthy advantages where they get to meet with the team a little bit earlier than other teams and things like that.
They get an extra mini camp, and I think they get extra like training camp sessions, if I recall correctly.
That's crazy.
But yeah, exactly. Like we are well rehearsed in terms of what it means. Look, so far the extra mini camps ain't done a damn thing. So I don't. Maybe Kubiak's like, no, I don't want them.
Hey, Reese got a bone to pick, man. He says Bowers, Mendoza aren't looking for nicknames. Genty's looking for a nickname. We ain't got time for that BS.
Hey, I will say this. Reese Rock, I am. If you look for somebody that's gonna come in here and hate on Genty, bro, you come to the right place. But did you not see the schedule release? Did Fernando Mendoza not demand that our potential starting quarterback call him Fernando, or what is it, the Nandalorian or something like that? Did he not demand he be called the Nandalorian? No, but I know what he means though. Like last year, asking Genty before the season, he was talking about being called the Silver Surfer, and I'm like, dog, come on, man.
Yeah.
And then this offseason, he's all over TikTok doing like I don't even want to talk.
Yeah, nicknames, man. They're bestowed upon you, man. It's not something that you could just, come up on your own.
I told people last year that the Silver Surfer was the weakest nickname. First of all, like the Silver Surfer was the weakest nickname in the history of nicknames, bro. Like it was weak.
It's terrible.
It was weak. Like it's like
he should have just stuck with his college nickname. I don't know why he didn't. I guess I don't know. He's trying to.
I don't remember what was his college nickname.
It had something to do with Michael Myers.
Oh, was it Michael Myers? Okay,
they call Michael Myers because I guess it's
because the stance.
Yeah,
Silver Surfer. Because if you think about Silver Surfer as a nickname, you think about what Silver Surfer is as a character. He's a dude that flies around on a surfboard wearing all silver, and his job is to find meals for his big man, right? For Galactus. So he flies around looking for food for another man.
First of all,
that's the right. That's the most sus name to be called.
Look. You know what it is, man. I feel like Genty's just a very young guy, man. That's all it is. Man. He's figuring out life. What is he, like 21? He's like 21 now, like 21.
I think he's 22 now. I think 22.
Yeah,
now. He's still super young though.
A lot of the things that he does.
Still like 5 years younger than Detroit.
Bro. What's okay? All right. What's worse, Genty or Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams, but it's close though. It's close.
But Willie Williams, he got him.
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams is like. But look, Caleb Williams is Mike Tyson, and Genty's like, I don't know who you compare him to. He's like because the things that Caleb Williams does, I'd be like, what? This is not football.
If Genty comes out and has a year two like Caleb Williams had year two, Genty call himself whatever the hell he want to. I don't care. Call himself whatever the hell he want to.
Yeah, I know. Ain't no wrong with Silver. It's just the nickname wasn't. It wasn't like authentic. Whatever nickname it is, man, let it be authentic. Actually, to be honest with you, let Raider fans pick a nickname for you. You know what I mean?
Let me ask people this: who played Silver Surfer in his last movie? I'll rest my case. I'll rest my case. You want to be called Silver Surfer, big dog? Hey, have at it. Have at it.
Yeah. But let's move it along, man. Let's talk about some of the like position battles. Yeah, we kind of like alluded to it a little bit in some of the conversation that we were having earlier. What's the position battle that you're looking at like the most? Like what's the one that you're like, you know what, this is the one I'm paying attention the most outside of, I don't want to say quarterback because we kind of know what the deal is with quarterback. It's young guy. They got brought in a vet. most likely they're probably gonna roll with the vet until the young guy. Until everything. To be honest with you, it's not even until Mendoza's ready. It's more so until everything around Mendoza is ready.
Exactly.
Because we don't know, like they need to get everything settled. They need to get the offensive line, gelling, playing an all cylinder, running the football,
And it don't gotta be ready because we all know it's not gonna be ready, but at least be stable, right? It's like we've already addressed it. I mean, like it's a lot that needs to be provided on this offense to maximize Mendoza, but at least we don't want all this uncertainty when we throw him in, because that can create chaos, and chaos is not good for a young player's development, especially somebody that seems so I don't want to say dependent, but like basically dependent on structure. Like Mendoza strives in structure, or thrives in structure, right? That's why he was so good at Cal, because there was a good structure in place, and there was and in that structure he was able to expand and grow as a player because that structure was there. So if you throw him into a chaotic situation, like his brain doesn't work like that. It doesn't
Indiana,
seem, right? Indiana, yeah, I'm talking about Cal, Indiana. So his brain doesn't seem to work that way, where it's like all this chaos. He seems to work best when the structure, and then inside that structure, he can make independent choices within that. And I think that's kind of the best way to go. So throwing him out there right now, we don't know who right tackle is. We don't know who the receivers are. We don't know we're gonna run in 12 personnel, 11. We're running 13. How are we gonna use Jack Best? We don't know. Putting him out there right now, I don't think that'll do anything but hurt his development.
Agreed.
But just in terms of battles, I mean, speaking of, I think right tackle is a big one. Like we kind of don't know what it's gonna be. Is it Trey Zoon? Is it DJ Glaze? Does the coaching staff give Charles Grant an opportunity? That remains to be seen. RB2. It is. We talked about it. It does seem like Kubiak. Is it going to be Washington? Is it going to be Hemby? And then go ahead.
I was going to say, chime in real quick, not to cut you off, but if it's just crazy to me that like Spytech at the beginning of off season is like we're expecting big things from Charles Grant and it's early, like next minicamp, and I think someone made a good point about this. The media has access to 3 out of those however many days of OTAs. The coaching staff is the media is only going to be able to see what the coaching staff is going to allow them to see.
Yeah.
So they might have put Grant out there, but there was outside of media access. So we don't know for sure. But as time goes on, we'll probably get a good idea of what it looks like. But I, like I said, I think it would be crazy that like if Grant doesn't get at least a shot at least competing, especially after Spytech is like, we expect big things, and then you don't give him an opportunity to compete for one of the tackle spots, or unless, I don't know. That's just a weird situation if he doesn't get that shot. But it's too early for me to like kind of say that he's not going to get a shot. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, we talking about it would be crazy. It would be crazier if you bury your second round pick on a team that's struggling for pass catching options. So it's not like we ain't seen crazy. Obviously, that's a different regime. We expect this regime to be much better, but I mean, I guess the it's not really a position battle, but I just want to see what they end up doing with Jeremy Chin and Tre'Don Stooks. We've been hearing that Tre'Don's playing some nickel. And when he's not playing nickel, Jeremy Chin's kind of playing a free safety role. And then when Jeremy Chin is playing nickel, Tre'Don Stooks is playing a free safety role. That's what they've been saying. They've been kind of alternating there. So I'm curious to because like his last year in college, because I know one thing you looked at it, right? When you were telling me about him, he's like, oh, it's a safety. But basically all the places we looked had him listed at corner because he only played like 19 snaps this past year as free safety. So a lot of him being drafted or people thinking he could be a free safety, a lot of that was projection because of his skill set and his range and his instincts, what have you. But he spent a lot of the time in Arizona playing, in the nickel. So, and that's kind of the role they had carved out for Jeremy Chin last year, especially prior to the Lonnie Johnson injury. So, like, what do they do with those two guys? How do they alternate them? I think that's going to be interesting to see. So, that's something I'm looking at as well.
Well, nickel has just become like an important position in football. Like, it's just more than it's ever been. But so if he's there, I wouldn't be mad at it. But like Brian Branch, we thought he was going to come into the league and play free safety.
Yeah.
But then they're playing him at nickel, but they move him around. They play him at free safety. So it might be the same type of role. Same thing with Derwin James. I'm not sure if Derwin James plays free safety, but he kind of moves around where he's guarding a nickel and he's a safety. So if that Stooks might be that guy. So yeah, that's going to be an intriguing battle for sure if it comes down to between Jeremy Chin and Stooks playing nickel. So that's what you're saying. But Teron Johnson, I mean, he hasn't showed up yet. We'll see what happens there. But I mean, I would think that would be the guy that's going to be playing nickel. So it's like a lot of like, all right, if Teron Johnson comes back, does that mean that, okay, Stooks is going to be a guy that they have at free safety and maybe they move around a little bit, but Teron Johnson holds down the nickel spot. We'll see how that shakes out. Another one is the number 2 running back position on the depth chart behind Genty. And we could, as of right now, from a talent perspective, we're like, yeah, it's going to be like Mike Washington, right? From a talent perspective. But, when you hear when you hear Kubiak talk about the position, when you hear the coaching staff talk about it, they haven't anointed anybody. They like anytime like Mike Washington's name's been talked about and asked, they kind of sidestep it, or they just talk about how like, hey, look, you're going to have to go out there and earn it pretty much. They haven't anointed anybody at that number 2 spot. So think about it. They picked up Mike Washington, Dylan Lobby's there. I know Chris Collier is on the depth chart. I don't know if that matters. Do they pick up a veteran? Back we've heard Najee Harris kind of like linked with the team. So maybe they keep in contact with him and then maybe sign him during, training camp once they feel like, all right, you know what, he seems to be ready. And then Hemby was an undrafted free agent, so that a lot of people like that pickup. So he probably figures into that too as well. I think Mike Washington would be the favorite, but he would have to like earn trust within the coaching staff in order for him to get that spot. And that trust, meaning that he can't fumble the ball like he did in college. Pass protection as well will be big for him. And I think if they bring in a veteran that early on, I think that's going to take away from Mike Washington for sure. So I think they're kind of waiting to see before they kind of like sign a veteran. Like if, let's say Mike Washington is struggling in pass protection, he's fumbling the ball, he has room to stand out, then they're probably going to roll with like, all right, let's get Najee Harris. You know what I mean? He's going to average like 3 yards a carry, but let's just get like a veteran that we can trust and put out there. But yeah, I think that number 2 running back battle is going to be big. You kind of mentioned the right tackle, left guard. We've talked about it countless times. That's like the biggest spot because we don't know who's going to start there. At least like Glaze is kind of like, all right, guy that's been there starting, but we know that his name is not etched in stone. So we feel like, all right, they could be a battle there. So I think offensive line is left guard and right tackle. But I wonder if JPJ has to earn. I mean, I feel like hopefully it's not what it was last year, but then is it a situation a new coaching staff comes in and like anybody's position can be changed? I mean, like, can JPJ lose his job to like another guy? You know what I mean? I don't want to put it out there. I mean, I feel like JPJ is going to start, but you never know. You never know. Because it seems like the coaching staff has a prototype when it comes to their offensive linemen, especially because it's a wide zone scheme that they want athletic guys out there. So guys that can move, so I'm just thinking like, all right, I think JPJ can do that, but Is he as athletic as Zoon? Caleb Rogers is pretty light. I think he can move. I believe Glaze is a guy that's like, I don't know. I don't know if he can move as much as, like, let's say maybe a Charles Grant. I think Charles Grant got some. That's why I like kind of Grant a little bit, just because he's more athletic. Same thing with Zoon too, but he just got short arms.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think.
Charles Grant got like 34 and some change inch arms.
Another battle that we haven't talked about, and maybe it's not a battle in some people's eyes, especially if he's healthy, but the outside corner spot.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
McCoy, we all, like, if he's healthy, we're like, yo, let throw McCoy. We want McCoy out there, right?
Yeah.
But Darian Porter's is in his second year. We didn't even mention him as a breakout player.
Yeah.
Partly to do because we kind of see the writing on the wall. We're like, McCoy. McCoy healthy, man. Yeah. It's about putting the best players on the football field, and Darian Porter is a nice depth piece, and that kind of puts, Richardson out, like, kind of.
Oh, DeCam.
DeCameron Richardson in a little bubble spot a little bit. They picked up masses, and now they got. It's gonna be tough.
You know where it puts DeCam, puts him right with his cousin.
Right. And then we talked about the number 2 running back spot. We talked about right tackle, left guard, outside corner. Who's going to be starting there? Is it McCoy? Is it Darian Porter? Because it's going to be a battle there. I don't think they're just going to give it to McCoy, but I think if McCoy's healthy, we feel like they might just put him out there. But another spot I'll say is we just got on the wide receiver room. I think what's the starting receivers? I don't know. Like is it Trey Tucker and Naylor? Basically.
Right now, I think that's what it is. I mean, Kubiak, he keeps talking up Trey Tucker. I don't know if he's trying to do a Jedi mind trick or what it is, because he does stuff like I don't want to compare him to, like, if they ask him a question, he's like, oh, does he play like anybody you've ever coached before? He was like, well, I don't want to say who it is, but I don't want to put that on. I'm like, well, bro, who is it? Like, is it Rashid Shaheed? Is it Chris Olave? Like, who does Trey Tucker remind you of, right? Like, I'm trying to figure that out, because that for damn sure ain't JSN. I know for sure it ain't no damn JSN. So, like, who is it? But since he took the job, right? He's given Trey Tucker some praise in one sense or another. He's talking about how tough he was and initially. Now he's talking about, how fast he is and how hard he's working. He's always in the building. So he's been heaping praise on Trey Tucker this entire time. So I don't know if it's a situation where he's trying to, certain coaches, when you're around certain people, you kind of get to understand what stimuli they react to. Some players are more stimulated by tough coaching, right? Tough love. Coach this guy hard, and that's what's going to bring the best out of him. Some guys are like that. Some guys, especially this newer generation, I don't say they soft, but they kind of soft, but they're more stimulated by praise. Oh, man, Trey Tucker, he's so good. Oh, this guy is great. He's fantastic. And they'll make, oh, my God, I got to go out there. I got to prove coach right. I got to show I'm who he thinks I am. Like, some guys are like that. So maybe he's taking that approach to Trey Tucker, and that's what he's kind of using to pull the best out of a guy like Trey Tucker. I don't know. No, I'm just spitballing here, but he's been consistently praising Trey Tucker. So I'm hoping that Trey Tucker is everything that Coach Kubiak claims he is. Because if he is, then we're in an all right spot, our wide receiver. Not in a good spot, but an all right spot.
So basically, the first 3 receivers on the depth chart are going to be Naylor, Tucker, and Jack Bush.
That's disgusting. That's just saying it out loud, bro. That sounds disgusting.
And then Dante Thornton, you would think would have that number 4 spot, but then there's some intriguing guys like, Chase Roberts, UDFA. I mean, he's a possible guy that might make might make it interesting.
I like Chase Roberts, actually.
He's
kind of like a Besh though.
He's kind of like a Besh, kind of bigger though.
He's big. He is bigger.
He's bigger, but We'll see. I mean, there's some other guys too as well that we're not mentioning, but
yeah, EJ Williams. Obviously, a lot of people like Malik Benson. He's a speedy guy.
Malik Benson.
Malik Benson, aka Mike Dixon. Okay.
That's what you call it. Yeah, you called him Mike Dixon. That's funny.
So I mean, there's some pieces there. Like, and we're not saying none of these guys can turn out to be, but it's just the odds of that happening are not very high. So when you talk about probabilities, you gotta look at it. What's the chances these guys? EJ Williams is a guy a lot of people like. He has some talent, right? Obviously, Malik Benson, he had a scholarship. He was at Alabama. He went from Alabama to Florida State, from Florida State to Oregon, right? He's at 3 spots where they're like known for bringing in highly talented people, right? But until he got to Oregon, he wasn't. I think actually after Florida State, I think he went the JUCO route. Then he went to Oregon, if I recall correctly. But whatever the case is, those are spots where they're known for getting like highly talented people. So there's talent there. How he uses that talent and how we apply that talent, that remains to be seen. But there's talent there to be mined.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see, man. Like we talked about, like I feel like the wide receiver room is just going to be addressed next offseason, but there are some intriguing maybe battles to see, like as far as the rest of the teams. We talked about offensive line. We kind of got into the defense. You could argue who would be the starting, D tackle opposite Adam Butler. You know what I mean? Like who's gonna be in that, who's gonna figure in that rotation? Who's the first name that they're gonna call? I mean, if you go across the board, you got Max Crosby, you got Adam Butler, question mark, and then on the other side, what do you got? Kwity Paye, kind of starting at the other edge spot. Maybe Kuntz. Maybe Kuntz figures in. Kuntz is also in that room. You know what I mean? As far as might be, but then they just gave Kwity Paye the bag. So if they get it, I'm sure he's gonna figure in. He's gonna be starting over Kuntz, and Kuntz might just come in like obvious passing downs. Yeah. So that's another thing too, is figuring out that rotation. You know what I mean? That front 7 rotation, that front 4, like who's gonna come in? Because D line, I'm not gonna lie, like if they can consistently get after the quarterback, it kind of makes this team a little bit dangerous on defense.
Yeah.
Because you got some ball hawks back there, some young guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you make it easier on them and you kind of get their confidence up and they feel like they can make a play on the ball, they got some guys back there. Stooks. Yeah. We got Stokes back there. He's feeling really confident after a healthy year last year. We just want to see him get some more interceptions, but he's pretty consistent.
Yeah, and he got a Georgia boys with him too now, so I'm sure he feels extra good.
Every time I hear Stokes talk, man, he seemed like a cool, positive dude, like hella upbeat, high energy. I mean, I feel like Raider Nation needs to like he would be he should be a fan favorite. He's very outgoing guy. I'm trying to think if there's any other position battle that we're forgetting right now.
No, I mean, you gotta look at not starters. I don't think. Maybe depth pieces, like with the depth behind Quay Walker and Kobe Dean. Like, how does that figure out? There's nothing back there.
Your boy out of Ohio State, man.
Nothing back there.
Yeah, no, that's huge, and that's the thing is like the good teams have depth, and the Raiders are kind of like still on their way to building that depth on this football team. But if they have if some of the players that they've drafted, shake out, especially the second year guys, we need the second year guys to step up. Like that's a big thing. Because if you're telling me Genty's the only starter that they're able to get out of that draft, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's also like, man, like it's a tough first draft. If you're not able to get like some guys that are contributors outside of Genty, because that's what it looks like right now. Outside of maybe you mentioned Tonka Hemingway as a breakout candidate.
Maybe Caleb or Charles Grant, maybe.
Yeah, but no one's talking about Caleb Rogers. It's funny, like he's kind of like the guy that no one's talking about as especially at that level.
Yeah, because I think Zoom come in here, and then like JPJ kind of being almost entrenched at that right guard spot. I think that kind of took some of the luster off of Caleb Rogers, because I'm assuming they'll have Burford and Meredith battle on the other side. So I think that kind of like where does Caleb Rogers fit into the equation? We don't know.
I wonder if they get creative and try to get Quay Walker involved as a pass rusher.
I would. That's why I said I thought he'd be like an outside linebacker. That would be his best spot. But I don't know how they're gonna play him.
Yeah. Yes. We'll see. Maybe he plays that role like what was the linebacker that we let go? That was good, and Patrick Graham was mad that we let him go. He ended up going to the Colts, I think.
Oh, Jermaine Pratt.
Maybe they put him in that role.
I can see that.
Because Jermaine Pratt, there was times where he put his hand on the dirt. He was near the line of scrimmage where he was rushing the passer. They're blitzing him off the edge, as well as him being in coverage and all that stuff. So maybe they play him in that role. But it's kind of hard to say because that's like a completely different defense. And Robbie Leonard is, I guess, gonna run some form of a Mike McDonald defense, but we still don't know what it's gonna look like. So
yeah, that's another thing. We don't know what it's gonna look like.
We don't know what it's gonna look like. So it's a lot of like, there's a lot of intriguing parts in that defense, man. There's a lot of players that we look at like and be like, hey, you know what? They can be a playmaker here, but we got to see how it looks like. But we'll find out as this offseason goes along. But we're not done yet. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. You already know what time it is, man.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business. He played it there.
Flag on the play. You already know what time it is. It's your first time joining us. Flag on the play is anything that we have an issue with, whether in football, anything outside of the sports. We'll talk about it. We'll call it like we see it, and we'll give it a flag. This week, what do we got, Severe? What's our first flag on the play?
This flag. This flag is subject to a coach's challenge. All right, this is subject to a coach's challenge. We might end up picking this flag up later on.
Okay.
But for right now, former Raiders running back Josh Jacobs, I think you guys can see it in the ticker. He turned himself in. He was facing several charges. He's being held without bond right now. The most serious of those charges is some of the domestic violence stuff. I think strangulation, suffocation, as well as I think destruction of property and intimidating a victim are among his charges. So, it's an ongoing investigation. He said through his lawyers he vehemently denies the accusation, and that he's looking forward. This is everybody says though. I'm looking forward to the truth coming out, and like that's like the standard fare when somebody goes to jail and it's something crazy in the news. I'm looking forward to the truth coming out, and oftentimes your truth comes out and it's like, yeah, exactly what we heard. So we'll see. But right now, there's a flag on the play. But if we find out that this is one of those crazy situations where a player's popularity and their celebrity status is being weaponized against them, then we fully reserve the right to pick this flag up. But as of right now, it's flag on the play. And Pharaoh put out an angle to this that I didn't even think about it. It's involving another player that is potentially looking for a shot in the NFL, and I did not even think about it.
Yeah. He's what I was talking to you about earlier was about Ruggs, because early when people were talking about Ruggs, especially with guys like Josh Jacobs kind of went out his way to say like, yeah, man, he talks to him all the time. He basically was letting us know that he's still working out. He tried to keep, he's super positive, and he's gonna try his best to get him back into the league. And now this situation happens, and I'm sure Ruggs is gonna, if he does get released and he tries to get back to the NFL, I'm sure he's gonna find a way to get a workout, but it does kind of like I don't know if this hurts his chances. He can't use Josh Jacobs as a reference as of right now. As of right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, flag on a play on Josh Jacobs if this is true. If this is true,
Yeah.
it's super early. Like a lot of this sometimes, these types of situations, like they can end up being falsely accused. Charges can be dropped. It can be turned into a civil case instead of a criminal case. But as of right now, he's been charged criminally. So
Yeah.
man, and the charges is pretty crazy. And all I gotta say is I'm glad it didn't happen to him as a Raider, because this would have been another page in the story of dysfunction of the Raiders. And I'm glad it didn't happen as a Raider. That's me selfish as a fan, selfishly as a human being. Like hopefully everything works out. I'm not wishing bad on anybody, but as a fan of the team, man, I just don't want no negativity. I'm tired of the negativity. I just want the Raiders to just focus on winning on a football field, because I haven't seen that in a long time. But yeah, as of right now, it's flag on the play. But like you said, subject to change. We might be able to pick this one up, possibly. But
yeah, maybe. Hopefully for his sake.
Yeah, it's pretty serious. It's pretty serious, allegations or charges. They actually charged him, I think. I don't know who that is. His girlfriend. That's
Ash Cash.
Yeah, Ash.
She's like a internet model. She better than Mug. She better than Mug.
Crazy name though. That is just
she better than the Mug, but you can tell she one of those. It's a Jeremiah Love situation. It's like it was love at first sight of his bank account.
That is definitely not her real name for sure. Ash Cash.
Oh, for sure it's not.
Oh man, yeah, Josh Jacobs, man. Eric says, how do you get in trouble and not be in Milwaukee? It's Wisconsin.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
Yeah.
Facts, bro.
That's tough, man. But yeah, as of right now, man, it's flag on a play. But I hope that this all works out for Josh Jacobs. Like, this is not true, and then everything just they just drop everything. But man, if it is, man, that's a ugly turn of events in Josh Jacobs' career. I mean, really good player. Actually been playing pretty well for the Packers.
Playing really well.
It's looking like a great signing for them. I mean, since he's got there, like, he's been a leader on that team, tough. I think like no one can ever question. I mean, Josh Jacobs' toughness. Like, I feel like he's always been that type of player on the football field. But we'll see how it shakes out, man. But yeah, this one is kind of like a weird. I was like, man, are you serious? Like, this is crazy. But like I said, as selfishly as a Raider fan, I'm just glad that didn't happen with the Raiders. Glad it wasn't with the Raiders. But it is what it is, man. What we got next for flag on the play?
I think you had one, right? Did you have one? Was it the Gronk? Was it the Gronk one? Or nah. I think we end up taking that one.
We end up taking that out. We're taking that out.
You're taking that one up, yeah.
So earlier we had like a list that Gronk came out with top tight ends, but as we kind of investigated a little bit, it wasn't him picking tight ends randomly as top. Like, they just gave him names and he just ranked them. Yeah. So, and Josh and Bowers wasn't in that list, so we took it as okay, this is definitely flag on a play material, but it ended up being it ended up not being true. So it's all good. We'll give Gronk some grace. We'll give him some grace.
Facts.
But yeah, man, I think that's the flag on a play so far this week. I'm trying to think. I feel like there is a flag on a play worthy. Might have sent you something. Let's see here.
Was there something else? I can't think of nothing else.
Drake surpassing Michael Jackson as the male soloist with the most #1 hits in Hot 100 history with 14.
It's trash.
Someone hilariously commented on this and said, This is like when Bam Adebayo beat Kobe's 81 points game record. It didn't carry any weight.
None at all, bro. None at all. Especially in the middle of Michael Jackson, the whole movie rollout and everything. And everybody's starting to rediscover his music. I've been driving around, like I've been hearing like young kids like banging Michael, like, you know, banging some Thriller. Like, dang, okay, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so it's cool to just watch like the young kids. Like my son loves it. He's singing Billie Jean all the time. Like so the kids are starting to rediscover his music. That's pretty dope. Yeah, but Drake would never have that kind of impact, bro. Ever.
Yeah, different. It's just Michael Jackson was so talented, the greatest entertainer of all time. Not even close. Icon. As a kid, he was a prodigy.
Yeah,
like, his voice was crazy, and then he was able to reinvent himself when he got older. You know what I mean? With his voice and style and stuff like that. When he did his own thing, especially when he got away from his family. Yeah. But yeah, Michael Jackson is one of one. But you know, it is what it is. Drake is, you know, he's been successful in his own right. But come on, like that. When I seen that, I was like, come on, flag. See, that's the sign of the times right there. The sign of the times. Like when Emmett broke Walter Payton's record. It just didn't hit. It just is like
it didn't. It's like it didn't hit the same, right? It didn't hit the same.
It's just not the same. It's just not the same. It is what it is, man. But we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We are not done yet. We got notable quotables in just a second. Definitely, like I said, make sure to clock in. If you're just joining us, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're first time joining us, definitely subscribe to both channels. What do we got for our first notable quotable, Samir?
First notable quotable, we'll go with, speaking of former Raider running backs, we'll go with the former Raider running back, Maurice Jones-Drew. He was over with one of my favorite players of all time, Steve Smith, on this podcast, and he was talking about rookie running backs that went to different destinations. One of the backs they brought up was Mike Washington, and in the course of that conversation, they got to talking about Ashton Jeanty, and he had some interesting things to say about Ashton Jeanty. Some things I'm going to push back against, as you guys already know.
All right, let's see what he has to say.
There, I went with and followed him to the Raiders. I know the old OC was Greg Olsen is a good friend of mine. He was my quarterback coach in Jacksonville. Then I went and followed him to the Raiders. Yeah, there was no one else. No disrespect to those other guys, but they were like, bro, we got to get this guy is going to help us win. And like I said, I believe with Kubiak being there, Jeanty's going to have a resurgent year. Like I think what we saw late in the season of Jeanty, you're going to see that in the very beginning.
I like that. I like that. Where do you want to go? Because you didn't have the next running.
Sheesh, man. High praise, man.
Is it high praise?
Well, and I seen this. There's more to it than what he said. He just feels like this offense is going to cater to the strengths of Ashton Jeanty. They're going to take advantage of his ability to receive out the backfield. Obviously, he feels like Jeanty will be able to get it going in this offense with, running the football. They're going to get him involved, kind of like Christian McCaffrey-ish, where they try to, find ways to get the ball in different ways. So he feels like he's going to play big. Hey, look, Maurice Jones-Drew, man, I'm all for it, man. I want to see this happen, and I think that I think there's a good chance to happen. I just want to see how the offensive line plays out. I want to see how this offense plays out, but I think this is going to be, I think offensively the Raiders are going to be better than last year. But
that's not a high bar.
It's not a high bar. It's just what scares me the most is the receiver room. But if Kubiak is who he says he is and who we think he is, then we'll be able to maybe at least be a little bit more creative. There's going to be games where our shortcomings are going to show.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's going to be some games, if he's a good enough offensive coach, he's going to be out scheme and figure out ways to get guys going and get the ball being able to score. And I think Genty's going to be able to capitalize. So I agree. I agree with what he's saying. How much will be he has to go out there and prove it, but I feel like Genty will have a big year in this offense.
Yeah. I always caution against people, especially Raider fans, saying can't get worse than it got last year. Because we went after the Antonio Pierce, saga happened. We won 4 games, and we hired Pete Carroll and half of his family members, his second and third cousins, were all on the coaching staff. We brought those people in, and we're like, look, we got a respected coach on the staff leading the way. It can't be worse than it got last year, and we won 3 games, right? And then the year before, we had Amir and Sincere, and I don't even remember the other running back that we got from the Vikings. But we had those guys that were the running back core, right? And then we disregarded all of them basically outside of Zamir and Dylan Labe, and we say, you know what? When we drafted Ashton Genty at 6, it was like, there's no way in the world we're gonna have a worse run game than we had the year before. And then we ran for less yards and the same yards per carry after drafting a running back at 6th overall. So it's essentially worse than the year before, right? So it's like, I always caution, do I think it will be worse than the year before? No. But it's not outside of the realm of possibility looking at historical evidence. Right. And then he said something interesting. And he said that, he's going to use Ashton Genty. I think he said something about using Ashton Genty like Christian McCaffrey. Funny thing is, he didn't say use Ashton Genty like he used Alvin Kamara, because I think when me and you were going over the numbers, when Alvin Kamara was with Kubiak, he had one of his worst receiving seasons, that season under Kubiak. And then he said that, Ashton Genty, a lot of what we saw the end of the year with Ashton Genty is what we're going to see the whole year with Ashton Genty. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Let me take a look at it. And then I looked at it, and over the last half of the season, Ashton Genty averaged 3.2 yards a carry and 54 yards a game rushing the football. So is that what we should be expecting to see? This crazy production over the last half of the season that Ashton Genty put up. So it's like, that's not high praise. So it just seems that, he remembered the Texans game, which was a fantastic game from Ashton Genty, and he's trying to extrapolate that to be, that's what Ashton Genty was to close out the year, when it wasn't, right? We had a game where Ashton Genty ran, I think, 7 carries for 6 yards, right? Like, so he had, so for every good game he had over the stretch of that last part of the year, he had an equally bad one. So, if he's saying that he's going to do with Ashton Genty, kind of what he did with K9, and especially with K9 over the last stretch of the season last year, what Kubiak was able to do heading into the playoffs, and especially in the playoffs, if that's what we want to, that's where we expect to see out of Ashton, then fantastic, because there wasn't a player on the planet that was running the football better than Kenneth Walker was those last, 4 weeks, if you look at the last few games of the season and the playoffs. But if we're looking at what Ashton Genty did over the last stretch of his season, then that's nothing to be impressed with.
So, okay, Alvin Kamara in 2024, that's when he was coached by Kubiak, right? On offense.
Yeah.
He had his best rushing of his career. He didn't rush for 1,000 yards, but just below that, 950 yards rushing. So Alvin Kamara, which is crazy to think about, as good as he is as a running back, he is, and he's always ranked. He's always talked about as one of the best running backs in the NFL. Top 10. Just being able to be that kind of like dual threat running back where he can receive out the backfield and rush, right? But he's never rushed for 1,000 yards. But his best rushing output was the year that Kubiak was coaching that offense, and he rushed for 950 yards, right? You mentioned his receiving that year. His receiving actually was not that bad. He caught 68 footballs for 543 yards. Not too bad. So he
yeah. I'd say it was bad. I'd say it was one of his worst seasons.
So his best seasons were his first 2 years in the league. And guess who's his quarterback? It was Drew Brees and Sean Payton. The Sean Payton offense, like literally, like Drew Brees was dinking and dunking his way down the field using Alvin Kamara. There's nothing wrong with that. It worked. But it was technically his fourth best. I mean, I guess however way you looked at it, from his entire career, he's been in the league since 2017. So 8 years, fourth best. I think 543 yards. So
are we looking at seasons where he didn't play the full season, or are we just looking at? Are we looking at seasons? Because I think he had a few in there where he didn't play the full year.
So I'm looking at like what, 16 games, 15 games, 14 games, 15 games, 13 games, 15 games, 13 games, 14 games, 11 games. Last year he played his least amount of his career. So he's been playing 10 plus games most of his career. I mean, 13 plus, if you want to put it the lowest, 13 plus, at least 13 games outside of last year. So, but like I said, so my point is that the total amount of rushing was basically just under 1,500 yards total offense. In the year that Kubiak's offense was explosive at times, but also there was some inconsistency there, and you know how that season went left, and Kubiak was let go, and the head coach was fired. Like it was just it was that type of situation, right? But then he was able to bounce back the following year with Seattle, and we all seen what happened there. Like one of the best offenses in football, and what we seen from that running game was in the beginning, it wasn't as like explosive, but they just stuck with it. They kept running the football, and it paid dividends as the season went along, and they became one of the better rushing football teams in the NFL.
Yeah. That's my point, is that if he's looking at what Kubiak did over the last stretch of the season with Seattle and says that's what we get here, I'm good with that. But if he's looking at what Genty did over the last stretch of his season, then I'm not good with that. Because that was not good outside of the Texans game, which was like you don't want to take credit away from a guy, but do I think the Texans took us seriously as a team? No, because I think the very next week I think we ended up losing 34-10 to the Giants, who was a team that was vying for a top. So it's like I don't think it was all of us some revelation we had as a team. I just think the Texans went in expecting to get a W, and sleepwalked and almost lost the game.
Yeah. So I think it was a little bit of like I think. Look, I agree. This offense and Kubiak makes me kind of like excited about what the offense is going to look like with Genty and how he's going to be able to utilize his skill set. The fact that he was able to like come to Seattle and just like JSN 1,800 yards, like what the hell? Like, and not to like, and the thing is, it's not like JSN was terrible. He was a good player, really good player. I got to look at like what he had the previous year, but I think he had like about 1,200 yards receiving. So it's not like that was his first time going over 1,000, or he was just barely getting over 1,000 yards. Like he was actually a pretty good player before Kubiak got there. It's just Kubiak took him to a whole different level and was able to get the football to him. And I'm just looking at like the guys that we have on offense. I think Brock is the obvious, like he's gonna have probably his best year of his career if he stays healthy.
Hopefully, exactly. Hopefully.
But Genty's another guy where I'm like, hey.
I mean, it's tough though. Best year of his career, because his first year was crazy. And
he didn't get touchdowns like you would want, but that's because the quarterback.
That is true. That is true.
So I'm thinking like if you give him a good offense OC, he's gonna find a way to get him in the end zone. Like he's
slightly less yardage, but more touchdowns.
What did he get, like 1,100 yards receiving?
I thought it was 12. Maybe it was 11. I thought it was like 12.
Let's see, Brock Bowers. Did he get 1,100 yards receiving? Oh, just under 12. It was like 1,194. And he had 5 touchdowns his rookie year. Last year he actually had 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But obviously,
yeah, like 3 touchdown game, right?
Yeah.
Like the 3 touchdown game.
Yeah. But less catches, less yards. You know, he was kind of missing for a little bit due to injury. So it is what it is. But I think that like Kubiak comes into town and he stays healthy, like you can see him get surpassing at least, to me, touchdowns and yards. Maybe catches too. Be honest with you, like there's nobody that can threaten him.
Yeah, it's nobody. There's nobody. This offense is
Bro, he was doing that with who was the OC in 2024? That was like
it was Luke Getsy, and then it was what's my guy's name?
And
the quarterback's coach.
Was it Scott Turner?
No, Scott Turner was last year. Was Scott Turner? No, I thought it was Maybe that was the year before.
That was the year before when AP took over as interim head coach.
Oh yeah, with the quarterback coach. Yeah, so it was Luke Getsy and Scott Turner. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Luke Getsy and Scott Turner. But I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens. You know, Brock Bowers got to stay healthy, but Genty, I think, kind of goes. He's right there. You know what I mean? Like, because outside of Bowers, I think that he's the legit. He's the next best offensive weapon. It's like, to me, that's not even an argument. And I think, but you know, we'll see. He has to go out there and prove it. Offensive line has to gel. But you know, there's a lot of moving parts with it, just because like we don't know what it's going to look like with Kubiak as a head coach, as a play caller. I know he says he's focusing all his focus on offense, but come on, bro, you're a head coach.
Yeah,
you're a head coach. We're not telling you to make defensive play calls, but you're gonna have to know the down and distance and like, hey, what are you running on this 4th down and 1, and the Chargers got it in on the Raiders 10-yard line, like, and they're going like, is it something that you're comfortable with? Like, do you want to? It's just he's gonna have more responsibilities. What is it gonna look like when he has that? Is he gonna look like the same head coach? Same coach, because offensive coordinators, he has that down because he's able to focus on one thing, and I think he's trying to do that especially when he made that comment. He's like, hey, they brought me here, but I'm like, hey, you do have other responsibilities. Like, is that going to affect you a little bit? Because we've seen guys come in like, and they have all this, you know. They have the reputation of these great offensive-minded coaches, like Josh McDaniels, for example, great OC, but is he a great head coach? So there's a little bit of that too that we got to figure out. But we appreciate what you do. Make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Are you about to chime in?
No, so I'm saying yeah, you're right. I mean, like I said, just coming in, Josh McDaniels had, you know, a vastly superior resume than Clint Kubiak. Obviously, he also had the blemish of the more than a blemish, but he also had, you know, the negative mark from his time in Denver. But just as a coach, offensive coordinator, what he had accomplished to that point, I mean, it was second to none. So we're hoping that, you know, we can kind of break the curse, because we have not had a positive track record since Gruden 1.0, really, of hiring, you know, offensive coordinators to come over and be our head coach. So, you know, fingers crossed that this is the guy that kind of like stops that streak and you know, leads us into the future, because man, I'm tired of this coaching search every other year.
805 says Cousins averaged 175 yards passing in 9 games with better weapons last season. He's talking about with the Falcons. I like Kubiak, but not sure if I'm getting my hopes up with an aging QB with a new arm, even if they have history together. Yeah, valid point.
Yeah, that's a valid point. And then, I mean, he lost his job, then, you know, he got it back. Still wasn't great, but I think, you know, he was kind of better, I guess better-ish than what they had. But
this is hella. This could be I'm throwing it out there. This could be like a Matt Schaub situation.
It could be.
If Mendoza comes in swinging, if he comes in swinging, it could possibly be Derek Carr Matt job situation.
The only difference is, I think this staff is they'll say all the right things about the best man wins and all this stuff, but Tom Brady has spoken time and time again. Spytech has spoken time and time again that they prefer a young guy sit until he's ready. So I think at least to start the season, it will be Cousins. Now the duration of what he plays, how long he plays, that I think that's wholly up to Cousins to some extent, but to Mendoza as well. If Mendoza is out there showing that he deserves to be out there, then I think they'll give him a shot sooner rather than later. But I think they're really hell bent on having him sit for at least some period of time. How long that period of time is, like I said, that's somewhat up to Cousins, somewhat up to him. But ironically, who will go a long way to helping him, helping Cousins stay on the field, Ashton Genty. If Ashton Genty is running the rock and Cousins has to do very little outside of just play action and throw it to Brock on occasions, maybe hit Trey Tucker on the streak, hit Jalen Naylor on the dig. Like if we're making the game that easy for him, then he'll play a lot longer. But if we get if we get Brock hurt again, or Ashton Genty is the same player he essentially was last year, or if this offensive line is leaky and we can't even protect Cousins, then does that behoove us to put Fernando Mendoza out there in that kind of situation? It really doesn't.
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out, man. So, but we're not done yet. We got another notable quotable. Severe, what we got next, man?
Yes, sir. So we got one more notable quote. This is from Matt Harmon. We've been talking about second-year guys a lot. We just had a quote about Genty. This quote is about my other favorite player on the team, Jack Besh. Matt Harmon. He analyzes the receiver position, and one of the guys he kind of took a liking to in the pre-draft process last year was Jack Besh, and he gave us some of the reasons why Jack Besh may have a good season, but he also gave us a reason why maybe he doesn't.
Yeah. Here we go.
For Besh in particular, why I liked him as a prospect, I just thought he played really physically, was a good route runner, could separate in the short to intermediate area really well. He's a fluid player. I think, one of the red flags in his profile is that he was a skewed alignment receiver, which I have a whole post up on my website. Guys that have taken over 70% of their sampled snaps when they're a prospect for reception perception at one outside receiver position. Besh was one of those guys. Those guys have typically gone on to not be very productive receivers in the NFL. There are a few outliers, but for the most part, it's a long list of guys who average under 20 yards per game in the league. Besh obviously not off to a great start in his rookie season. However, I thought he might be a guy to kind of beat those trends because he was someone to me that perfectly profiled as a guy that could be an off-ball player, move around, play in the slot, play the F receiver position, be condensed to the line of scrimmage. That's just not what we saw him really be asked to do once he finally got on the field for the Raiders last year, which I thought was frustrating because he's a guy that while he separates really well in the short and intermediate area and he's good with the ball in his hands and catches pretty cleanly, he's just not someone who's going to threaten you vertically. And if you look at his route chart as a prospect, that was definitely true, and that translated in the NFL to his year one reception perception profile. He ran a 9 route on 15% of the routes I charted. He had a 36% success rate, which is well below average. So to me, he needs some level of role catering. I think we should have expected that, and I just don't really think he got that in year one.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's why I said that Besh to me has an opportunity to break out a little bit, just because I don't know if the previous coaching staff did him justice. First of all, they had Dante Thornton starting week 1. So that should tell you everything you need to know. Why was Dante Thornton out there when we were just watching him? You knew that he wasn't ready to be out there. And then you got Besh wasn't given the opportunity, whether you liked him or not. You drafted him in the second round. Why is he not out there? And they had to literally, it was a struggle to figure out like why he wasn't in the game. Some weeks he was in there. If he was in there, he would play like 1 or 2 snaps, 3 snaps, or the times that he was in there, he was just blocking. Like it's almost like they didn't have any type of plan for him to contribute on offense at all. Like there was no, it just seemed weird. So to his point, I know he made a point to say, oh, well, like the type of start that he has to his career, a lot of players are not productive. If you look at some of the numbers outside of a couple of outliers, but the Raiders didn't use him to his strengths. They didn't use him. They didn't have. It's
no. So that wasn't to start his career. That was him as a prospect coming out of TCU.
Okay.
So that's what it was saying. Like guys. So it was like basically he can only win one way in this one particular spot, and if you move him anywhere else, he wasn't productive. So like when guys that have a skewed productivity from lining up in this one particular spot, that usually doesn't bode well for them in the NFL. So he's saying, he thinks Jack Best can defy that model, his own model, mind you, right? He thinks Jack Best will somehow define his own model, but that, what he showed last year and how he was used last year didn't do him any favors. And that he thinks he's a guy that has to be catered to. So it's just like, first of all, that's so wild.
You know what? I'm kind of getting, this is kind of like, I want to go to that. I'm going to go to the second round. I want to go to the 2025 second round. And I want to see the players that were drafted after Besh.
After Besh. He was drafted pretty late in the second round. So
yeah.
I think he's like pick 26 in the second round, something like that. So probably not too many. You have to go back. Technically you have to go back from when we traded the second time. I don't remember who we traded with that second time, because Jaden Higgins went and then Will Johnson went and we traded back.
Damn. All right. So this is kind of disgusting. So the Raiders drafted him pick 58.
Yeah.
Pick 58. They traded down initially all the way down. I think they were like somewhere 39, 40, somewhere around there. Like the first 10 picks at least in the second round, and they end up trading down like once or twice.
Twice.
All the way down to pick 58. Mike Green was the next pick.
Pass rusher.
Yeah. And he was a guy that was about to go in the first round if it wasn't from some
accusations
stuff, you know what I mean? So you could argue like, man, like the Raiders could have had Mike Green, Yeah. Okay. RJ Harvey went to Denver.
Yeah.
Trey Amos, cornerback, went to Washington.
He was one of the best young corners too.
Shamar Turner, DN, went to Chicago.
Yeah.
Omar Norman Lott, D tackle, went to Kansas City.
He's good too.
Andrew Mukuba, safety, went to Philadelphia. And now we're getting into the third round. That was last.
I know Andrew Mukuba was actually pretty solid last year. I think he had like a pick 6. He was solid. He was a solid player.
Pick, I think.
Yeah.
And then now we're getting to the third round. Darius Alexander, Ashton Gillette, Harold Fannin Jr. was actually a good player.
Yeah, but
and then the Raiders drafted Darian Porter right after Harold Fannin Jr. Got drafted. So
yeah, and
then Kyle Williams went the next pick. So that's another pick that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Kyle Williams.
Man. Yes, that's a guy both of us like, especially after Steve. Oh boy. I think Steve Smith had some good things to say about him too, but obviously, oh boy was really put him on the radar first.
Your boy Siobhan Revel at pick 76 to Dallas.
Yeah, by the Cowboys, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So Siobhan Revel, like that's another pick to pay attention to. Yeah. Especially with Darian Porter, but I'm not out on Porter though.
We essentially got the same prospect in Porter, except Porter is healthier. I think Revel was and especially in college, was a higher level player, but he came with an injury concern.
You know what's crazy too? When we got to pick 58, this because we were doing a bunch of mock drafts. We did a bunch of mock drafts leading up to the draft, and obviously the draft is going to be based off like teams big boards, so there's a lot of unpredictability. But I was like, and we were drafting Tate Ratledge in the third round. Yeah. But I'm like, when the Raiders were at pick 58 and the board was falling, I'm like, you know what? I like to just take Tate Ratledge. I wouldn't be mad if they took Tate Ratledge at pick 58. They traded down twice in the second round, and guess
Lions
what?
Got it.
Right before that Jack Bech pick, and the Lions traded up to pick 57. So they must have thought like, hey, he wasn't gonna last, past the Raiders. He wasn't gonna get past the Raiders. So, man, I don't know. Out of those players, is there anybody that you're like,
Trey Amos for sure.
Like back then, or just based off the year that he's having?
Back then, I didn't like Jack. Like I said, it was hella. These guys players who I'd rather take over Jack Bech. Back then, hella people I would took over Jack Bech. Siobhan Revel, Trey Amos, all those. I had Jack Bech like a 4th round pick, like tops. So like it was a whole bunch of people. I would have took Royals over him. I would have took the other receiver that went to what's the receiver Horton that went to Seattle. I would take him over. There's a bunch of receivers I would took over Jack Bech. So like Jack Bech, I took Alec Iomanner over Jack Bech. There's a whole bunch of people I took over Jack Bech. Like so it was just I mean I didn't think he was that good of a prospect. And I didn't think he was going to be good on a team like ours where we had guys like Brock Bowers and conceivably Michael Mayer already kind of playing in that area of the field. So I just think it made a lot of sense for us. But obviously the Raiders saw something in him that I didn't see. So I'm hoping that with another year in the league, him adjusting his game. And that's the thing I hate is that they're talking about Clint Kubiak having to scheme him open, which to some extent all players, they have to operate inside of a scheme and inside of a scheme that kind of caters to their strengths and hides their weaknesses some. But like the fact that we drafted you in the 2nd round as a wide receiver, like we will hope that you would be able to win in multiple ways. Obviously you can have an optimal way to play the game where you would have your most success. Yeah. But we would want you to be able to, okay, even if we don't put you in this particular role, doing these particular things, you can still be a productive player. And it seems that unless we're playing Jack Bech a certain way, having him run certain routes, run certain concepts for him, then he may not be an NFL caliber receiver at that point. And to have that taken that in the 2nd round, I mean, the Raiders, it might be the point where we need, we're hoping against hope with Treydon Stukes, but we might need to just be just not drafting the 2nd round no more. Like, bro, either you trade up to late 1st or you trade down to the 3rd. You don't touch 2nd round picks anymore.
We'll see. I'm I'm gonna give Jack Bech a chance to prove his worth. Obviously, it's different coaches, different. A lot of things went wrong. I mean, my guy, TK is offensive line has to improve. They did Ashton Genty nor Gino any favors last season. Just his poor performance. Can't remember last time our O-line was that bad. Yeah, man, it was terrible. So, and it wasn't just offensive line. You could also talk about the coaching. It was just so many things that could go wrong, went wrong. So it's kind of hard to put it on one player and say, oh, it's their fault. It was this fault. Or it was just so many things. Yeah, it was just everybody just contributed to this terrible performance last season. But I want to go to the 4th round. Dante Thornton, the starting game one receiver who started the first, I don't know, it felt like the first 8 weeks of the season he was the unquestioned starter at wide receiver. Yeah. It felt like, and then I don't know if he got hurt or he got demoted after a while.
Remember people said he was Megatron.
He would call him Megatron. So,
but it's the time before you go. I just want people to remember this. I just want people to remember there was a point in time last year where Cam Miller completed a deep pass to Shedrick Jackson, and people were like, Cam Miller's Tom Brady. He's drafted in the 6th round. He's Tom Brady. So I just remember I said this because when Mendoza goes out there and he throws a long touchdown pass to Mike Dixon, aka Malik Benson. When this happens, just remember all the stuff people are gonna be saying. It's gonna be pandemonium. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead, dude.
Yeah. I mean, pick 4. Yeah, man. No, for real. Like, and we do that a lot, man. Sometimes, like, people get excited sometimes, and they just automatically want to, like, just compare him to a former great player because they feel like that's gonna mean that they're gonna turn into that player. Nah, it doesn't mean that. Like, you gotta let him play. And Dante Thornton was picked in the 4th round. Like, literally, when we were doing mocks, we had this guy going in like 6th. So, like, we knew he was a project. We were like, exactly. Look, he's not. I don't know if I would take him in the 4th, but the Raiders took him early in the 4th, pick 108. This is the Scatterbo went like the 3rd pick in the draft. That was a guy I was like, man, if the Raiders can get Scatterbo in there, I know we got Genty, but I was looking at everybody. Dylan Sampson.
We wanted to double up, bro. That was the whole thing at running back. We wanted to not draft the running back early and double up.
And guess what the Browns did? They doubled up. They went ahead and drafted in the 4th, pick 126. So about 19 picks later, the Browns drafted Dylan Sampson. I'm not gonna lie. I would have liked that. I would have liked Dylan Sampson in that running back room. Would have been nice to go along with Genty's skill set too as well. But it is what it is. I'm trying to look at some other guys that went in. Danny Stunsman, linebacker.
Oh, linebacker, yeah.
He went like a few picks after Dante Thornton. He went to the Saints. Looking at some guys here.
Man, I'm just looking at it like this, bro. What's crazy, I had to look it up real quick. Chris Brazzell was only drafted like a round or so above Dante Thornton. He was drafted in the 3rd round. He was drafted 19th pick in the 3rd round. Dante Thornton was drafted in the 4th. Like, they're not a round apart in terms of talent.
Yeah. He's a better prospect. Brazzell's
way better, man. Way better.
Yeah, man. It is what it is. But look, it's up to the Raiders to see if they can unlock and develop the guys that they drafted. So hopefully Besh can find a role. If he finds a role and he's a good player on the offense, cool. It is what it is. Like, he might just be a solid role player. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just.
No. Look, I was about to ask you, Chris Brazzell or Jack Besh? Yeah.
Oh no, man. That's a trick question.
Look, you hit me with the Kubiak smirk when you talk about Mendoza.
Hey, man, it's a trick question because look, think about it. He's just another Tennessee receiver.
That is true.
It's another Tennessee receiver. You know what I mean? So I could use that as my little scapegoat right there. Just like Tennessee receiver, I can't do it. I can't do it. From a talent perspective, it's not. I think Brazzell got way more talent, but
look, TCU been struggling too though, because I think TCU. I think Jalen Reagor is TCU. Obviously, Quentin Johnson is TCU. Trying to think, they done had some other busts at wide receiver too. They had another. I want to say they had a speed guy too. That wasn't Reagor. They've had some busts themselves recently too.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not out on Besh. I'm gonna give him opportunities to see what he has this season, especially if you give him a clean slate. Even Dante Thornton, to a certain extent, give him a clean slate. But I feel like Dante, looking at him even when he was out there, it just seemed like, yeah, you got some things to figure out, man. So, and now you have a completely different coaching staff. So now he has to prove to them that, he can be a guy that they could develop. But yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. I think that wraps up notable quotables, right?
Yes.
That wraps up notable quotables, but I think we're not done yet. Do we have a what's real, what's not statement? I believe so.
Yeah, we do have a what's real, what's not statement. It's real easy peasy, man. It's kind of on the same theme of what we've been talking about. This is a very low bar, but if anybody doesn't know, what's real, what's not, rather, basically we make a statement. You guys let us know whether it's real or it's not. And the statement for today is the Raiders will be a top 25 offense in both yardage and scoring. There's 32 teams in the NFL. The Raiders will be a top 25 offense in terms of yardage and scoring. They were 32nd in both last year. I think they averaged 14.2 points a game. If they can average a touchdown more, that would vote them to like 22nd or something like that. So they don't need one more touchdown a game. So you put them at 21, that will put them squarely in the top 25. So are the Raiders, is Clint Kubiak good for another touchdown a game over the course of the season?
Top 20. Oh man, I'm gonna say that's real. I think they can be a top 25 offense. I'm trying to look up and see what they were ranked last year on offense.
They were 32nd in both.
They were 32nd in both. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Wow. Yeah. Oh man, for sure. That's real. That's real. I think they can improve. They can be a top 25 offense. They could easily just be a top. Like, I mean, if I feel like the offense, I feel like, all right, me being optimistic, I feel like the offensive line is going to get better. I think the run game is going to get better. I think it's going to be more of the same at wide receiver. It's going to be like times where, hey, look, they look decent, they look all right, but it's going to be some inconsistency there. Everything is going to basically be the Brock Bowers show. And if he's hurt or he's not on his A game, it's going to be tough to figure out who's going to be the number 2 guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they can improve running the football, and just overall the offensive line play gets better, and that would be a real top 25 offense in yardage and in scoring. What you got, Sabir?
I'm gonna say real.
I thought you were gonna be like, not 27. I think
I mean, I think good for another, because just think of how bad our offense was, especially in some games. We couldn't even put points on the board at all. Like, it got real embarrassing. I think Kubiak, I think he's a good enough offensive mind. Like I said, I really like Rick Dennison a lot. So I think he'll contribute and make his contributions. Not sold on Genty, obviously. Like I said, I've watched every carry he's had, all 22 end zone, and the cartel view. Like, I've watched every carry he's had, and I was rarely impressed with what I saw from him. So, but I think this scheme, I think we can manufacture some yardage in the run game. I think we'll scheme some guys open, like a Besh. I think we'll use Trey Tucker's speed a little bit better. Guy like Naylor is kind of a steadying force, not a true number 1. I think good enough to help us. I think we'll do enough to get to like that 20, to like the 23, 24 range.
Okay.
Still bottom 10, but still like, but considerably better than what we did last year.
Yeah. No, for sure. This is a good question. My guy, C. Gabe Go says, have you guys talked about who you would have took at pick 13 with the Crosby pick? So
I don't even want to talk about that, man.
Old wounds, man. But if we're just let's entertain it, man. Let's entertain it real quick. I'll entertain it. Pick 14 is basically what the Raiders would have had if they would have had that pick. If the trade went through. On the board was Alona Vega-Ione, and then you got Ruben Bain was on the board too, as well. Mekhi Lemon was on the board. If the Raiders wanted to go tackle, there were some tackle prospects, but they went a little bit, a few picks later. Like Monroe Freeland went to Carolina. Guys like Max Nachor went to Pittsburgh. If they like Akeem Mesidor, he went at pick 22 to the Chargers. Which is tough. But I think for me, Ruben Bain would have been the pick for me. Ruben Bain, that would have been a big time get. It would have been pressure because I know people would have been like automatically probably compared him to Max, just because like he would have basically he's gonna take that that spot of being the top pass rusher on the team. But yeah, Ruben Bain drops to you at 14, which was basically what the GM for the scumbag GM of the Baltimore Ravens was basically talking about. That was what they were going through. Was like it was a toss up between Vega and Ruben Bain, and then I forgot who was the other player that they were looking at. Maybe Mekhi Lemon. I'm not, or the tight end, Kenyon Sadiq. Who was also on the board, but for the Raiders, I think it would have been between Vega or Bain, and then maybe Mekhi Lemon. But I don't know. That would have been too. To me, it's Bain. Who would you have picked at pick 14?
Yeah.
With guys that I mentioned. So the guys that are on the board at pick 14 is Vega.
Yeah.
Offensive guard from Penn State, Ruben Bain, pass rusher from Florida or from Miami. And I can start, naming some names. But these are the guys. Me personally, I'm probably going Mekhi Lemon or Casey Concepcion.
Ooh. Spytech. I'm thinking Spytech may go Vega or Maxi Iheanacho. I know he likes those those bigger offensive linemen with traits. I think both of those guys possess that. So I can see him going Maxi Iheanacho. And I love Maxi Iheanacho. But if I got Mekhi Lemon right there or Casey Concepcion right there, I probably gotta do that.
I think Spytech would have taken Ruben Bain for sure. And guess what? His former, mentor or guy that Tampa Bay, basically, this place that Spytech came out of, they went ahead and pounced and basically drafted Bain instantly.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna be a pass rusher in that like Todd Bowles defense, which is a good spot for him because Todd Bowles is very creative. He's gonna find ways to utilize his skill set, but you can make a case.
It seems Spytech, but the only thing I would go against Bain, reason I wouldn't go Bain, and which may be a reason why they may not go Mekhi Lemon either, is because if you look at all the guys we drafted outside of Mendoza, and Mendoza probably would have a pretty good one too. All those guys had crazy RAS scores. Like he was in a position where he was going for guys that had measurables and athleticism. Outside of Zoom, his arm length wasn't that great, but his athleticism was crazy. And I don't know how well Ruben Bain, what his RAS score was, how well he tested, but I think that's something Spytech looked at. And I think Casey Concepcion, his is probably off the charts. Maxi Iheanacho, I'm sure, was off the charts too. Vega Ion, I'm not sure, but he's a good athlete for a guy his size. So that's one reason I don't know if he would have went Bain.
Yeah. Well, Spytech probably would have traded down, especially if they had the same grade on like 3 or 4 players at the same time. And that's what the Ravens GM was talking about. He said it was like they were trying to trade down, which was funny. And I think that was something that we talked about before. It was like, kind of
they had a trade and the team backed out. I was saying
the team backed out last minute. Oh, sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of interesting to see that they kind of like were trying to trade down just because it was like really a toss out between Ruben Bain and Vega. And then I think it was somebody else that they were looking at. It might have been Kenyon Sadiq because they lost the tight end.
Kenyon Sadiq, man, he went to what? Who did he go to the Browns? The Jets. Oh yeah, I forgot the Jets. The Jets got him and Omar Cooper.
Jets, man, I am not gonna lie, they got some talent, bro.
Bro, because I'm the same saying, bro. They got Mimbo at right tackle. They got Brees Hall. They got they got Kenyon Sadiq, Omar Cooper, and Garrett Wilson, and they got the receiver, A.D. Mitchell.
I don't know I don't know if the offensive coordinator is going to be able to utilize. I don't know if he's that type of guy.
Frank Reich is solid enough. He's solid. He's not exceptional. He's solid.
He's a veteran OC, but like, man, he got a lot to cook with. He got a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
Got a lot,
man. Like he's not upper echelon. He was good enough as an offensive coordinator to earn himself a head coaching job. He didn't do good with it, but he was good enough to earn it. Like not many. Like there are guys that not many guys in the league are able to do that. To segue their OC duties into a head coaching spot. So, man, I think he's solid. And I think that Geno is not as bad as he was last year. So I think with those weapons and him, I think they'll do all right.
Bro, look at this draft. Like, yeah, they obviously had a whole lot of picks in the top 100, but look at the guys that they got. David Bailey at number 2.
Yeah,
one of the best pass rushers, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot they got David. Oh my god,
they got David Bailey, and then push it, go all the way down to. Now we're going to pick 16, Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah.
And then we go all the way down to pick 30, Omar Cooper Jr. And then we go to pick, this is in the second round, pick 50, D'Angelo Pons. These are guys, like, these are some names, though. We'll see how it works out, like, if they, end up living up to potential. But, man, they got some guys that, like, some good players.
Yeah, good. Now look, not only good players, but good players from winning programs.
Yeah.
David Bailey, Texas Tech, winning program, one of the best defenses in the nation. Obviously Kenyon Sadiq, the Oregon's been in the CFP the past few years. Omar Cooper Jr., national championship. D'Angelo Pons, national championship. Man, look, the Jets ain't playing, man.
They got Cade Klubnik in the 4th round. They didn't have a 3rd round pick, but they had Cade Klubnik, take that.
And he's been on a roster. I mean, Clemson was a successful program from a lot of his time there.
Before this season, actually, it was crazy. Before the season, he was kind of like projected to go earlier than the 4th round for sure. He just had like a very up and down season, inconsistent season.
Yeah. I mean, another one of those quarterbacks I told people about, that I wouldn't take him when he was all the sauce was on their name, like Quinn Ewers, like Carson Beck, like Garrett Nussmeier. Clay Klubnik was another guy. I said, I'm good on him.
Yeah. Dang. I'm just looking at their draft class. Like, they got VJ Payne, safety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They got him like in the 7th round though. Man, they killed it. And the
Browns killed it too.
The Browns killed it. Browns, they end up getting Spencer Fano, number 9th pick, and then
Casey,
I believe
Casey Concepcion.
Casey Concepcion, and then
Denzel Boston, right?
That's tough.
They got Denzel Boston, right? It was them that got Denzel Boston, right?
Yep. Denzel Boston in the 2nd.
To go with Harold Fanning Jr.
And they're not done yet. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren.
Oh, I forgot they got him. Oh my God!
Another pick in the 2nd.
Yeah, man, they killed it. The Browns killed it.
Yeah. And I'm trying to see who was after that, just to see how much they're on fire. Let me see. Cleveland, Austin Barber, offensive tackle. After that, in the 3rd, it's just a tackle prospect. I'm just looking at their draft class. Dan Bugler had him as the best draft class. But he had the Raiders number 3 though. I was like, okay, damn.
Yeah, because Dan Bugler was on Fernando Mendoza like forever. So he was one of the people that said he was like Joe Burrow, I think, or something like that, right?
And he liked the Crawford pick too. He was high on that.
Oh yeah, see, I can't trust anything this dude says.
I think he was one of the first dudes to come out and said like,
yeah, I can't trust nothing he says.
Yeah, man. But hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through.
Oh, they got Taylor Green.
Taylor Green,
who's like a developmental. I don't think he plays quarterback in the league, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think they move him.
It's not accurate enough, bro.
Yeah, I think they move him.
But from an athlete perspective, man, if he could figure out as a quarterback, he would probably go down as one of the most athletic quarterbacks of all time. But I think it's a Terrell Pryor situation. That's what
exactly. Hey, get that thing started early. We saw what Terrell Pryor, and ironically, Terrell Pryor did that with Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Get it started early.
Yep. No, facts. Damn, the Raiders could have got Zakee Wheatley. Damn.
Yeah. But we had already taken Dalton Johnson and Traydon Stooks.
Well, hey, for whatever it's worth, those guys are former college teammates. They played on the back end secondary. It's a lot of communication, chemistry, right? What was talked about when the Raiders signed Quay Walker and Kobe Dean? Chemistry, communication is going to be huge. Everybody's going to be on the same page. So maybe that factored in on top of whatever they seen out of Dalton Johnson. That was like another like thing that they kind of like maybe valued is like guys that would be able to like work well with each other.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's
from talent perspective, Zakee Wheatley, I would have drafted him over Dalton Johnson. Come on, especially if we got Traydon. If you're gonna be like using him as like kind of like a utility type of guy, like you're gonna be moving around as from nickel to safety, and Zakee Wheatley could be like a guy that you could put at free safety.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying because you got Traydon, you got Jeremy Chin, and you got Teron Johnson. You know, maybe only Teron and Jeremy Chin for another year, but you got both those guys. So Zakee Wheatley is sitting there, bro. I'm definitely doing that. And Kilgore, I think we had an opportunity to get Kilgore too. Like there was some safeties there we had opportunity to get, and we didn't.
Yeah, Mike Washington though. I literally was on. I think I was on live when that was happening. Mike Washington, when he got drafted, I was like, no, before he got drafted, I'm like, hey, maybe the Raiders can possibly maybe trade up and get Mike Washington. Because remember, literally everything was playing out, but I never thought Mike Washington was going to make it to the fourth. I was like, man, if Mike Washington's in the fourth,
I didn't either.
Day one, I was like, if he's in the fourth, the Raiders should pull the trigger.
Him and Mercado, it's like the fourth probably is our best round. I mean, depending on how you feel about Mendoza. But we got Jermod and we got Mike Washington in the fourth. That's a smooth ass round.
Yeah. No, facts. Ramsey went top of the fifth. Okay. Kamari Ramsey, he was there at the fifth. Okay.
Yeah, I would take Kamari Ramsey over what's called. But you already know that.
Who over
Johnson?
But he went top of the fifth though. So he
went top of the fifth. Okay, I'm tripping. Yeah,
he wasn't there when the Raiders
Dalton Johnson.
Yeah. But the Raiders could have drafted Zakee Wheatley. They could have drafted. I ain't gonna lie. I was surprised Jalen Kilgore. I thought he was gonna go earlier, but he went.
Me too.
Damn. Who? I think the Raiders picked up somebody else. Oh, okay. Ezekiel Masses. Yeah, man, we just looking at this draft class. Hey, look, man, we appreciate everybody coming through, man. Make sure to clock in. At this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. Just want to come here and talk about the Raiders as usual. The conversation will continue later this week around the Shield. Make sure to tune in this Thursday. Hopefully, we'll have a guest for y'all so then we can, entertain a different perspective. LS earlier said I would have taken Bain at 13. Otherwise, I would have moved back for Peter Woods, use his capital, take Caden McDonald while also. Okay. Hey, man.
Yeah. Where did Peter Woods go?
Hindsight. Yeah. But Peter Woods, I went in the second round. He went to
the Chiefs.
He went to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Chiefs. So hopefully.
And then we let the Texans get Caden McDonald. Like, yeah.
Damn, Texas low key. That defense is gonna be.
Like, that was the one thing they was really missing was that kind of player.
Well, they went Houston. They picked Kalen Rutledge, guard, in the first round.
Yeah,
and then
then they got Caden McDonald.
Damn, trenches.
Yep.
Peter Woods went in the first round.
He went to the Chiefs.
Yeah, he went to the Chiefs first.
Yeah, but I think he was saying he would have traded back to later in the first round and got Peter Woods.
Yeah,
Peter Woods is a dog, man. He had a down year this last year. Peter Woods is a dog, man.
Yeah. Well, let me Kieran Crawford real quick before we head out. Raiders could have took
Anybody else, but
they had options here. There's some picks here. I was kind of scratching my head like, damn. I didn't know Markel Bell was gonna go early in the third, but he did. Oscar Delp, I knew he was gonna go earlier than the mock drafts were telling.
Yeah.
Branch, Jacoby Lane, Brazel, Ted Hurst, Pregnon.
Yeah, Kieran Crawford is a pick that pissed me off more than any other pick. Because you got Romello Height was there. Ted Hurst was there.
Yeah.
I think Halsey was there. I wasn't as high on Zachariah Branch as some people, but he was there. Big Citrus was there. I want to say Jacoby Lane was there.
Yep, Big Citrus.
I just said Brazel went third, right? I said Brazel went to third, right? So Brazel would have been there.
Yep.
So yeah, bro, like all these players, bro, like Brazel, Hurst, Lane,
Chris Bell, for anybody that
Chris Bell, like it's man.
Yeah, that one that was kind of, and I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of the Dalton Johnson one, kind of like I was like I know it's a 5th round pick, but I was just like, damn, Jalen Kilgore was there, Zakee Wheatley was there. Like, come on, bro. Come on, man.
Dalton Johnson,
talent, bro. I want talent.
You're kind of winning me over on. I'm not winning me over, but you're kind of making me see the Dalton Johnson pick a little bit, like just the chemistry with him and Stooks. Like basically, at that point, you took Stooks in the 2nd round, make him as comfortable as possible. Get him somebody that's gonna be there and be a running mate with them. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they're like best buds too. Like that's his.
Boy.
That's his boy. So and the thing is, Dalton Johnson was crazy.
They were on the phone screaming when they.
First
of all,
this generation, bro. This generation, man.
Hey, and the thing is too about Dalton Johnson. I remember watching literally. You already know I was trying to kind of like speak Brandon Sorsby to the Raiders to existence during the season.
Yeah.
The college season, and I was one of the games I watched was against Arizona. Arizona's defense, like, man, that's where I was like, damn, there's some guys out here on the secondary, and he had two. he had an interception, and then he had another play that led to an interception where he tipped the ball in the air, and then I think Trey Don might have got the interception possibly, or one of the corners. But like I was like, man, okay, this dude got ball skills. He got some, hey, playmaker. But he's just not that. He's just not like he's undersized. You know what I mean? Like there's that part about it, but he's a 5th round pick, special teams guy, and then man, maybe he can develop into a possible starter for you, where you can trust him to play at free safety. You know what I mean? But
speaking of that, I think Sorsby he lost his appeal, so I think he goes to court on like Monday or something like that. So.
Oh damn! So it's official. He's going to supplemental draft.
Well, he goes to court. I think the university is still fighting to get him eligibility. So I think they said, depending on how stuff goes in court, it could change some stuff. But it's not looking too good for him, to be honest. Not looking good for him.
Because what they did was I heard that he put in like he got his lawyer to put in like a request to speed up the process to review his case, so then they can figure out what his options are sooner rather than later, because he's thinking about going to the supplemental draft. But that's crazy, man. And I was looking forward to seeing him play at Texas State. I'm like, all right, let me see with some talent. Let's see another year of playing college football. Like, damn, that was crazy. That's crazy, man. And I don't know why. I don't know. This dysfunction is always around the Raiders, and then I'm following a player. It is something crazy happening. He's over here gambling. Man,
thousands of bets. Thousands.
Hey, it'd been funny if I take a break off of watching football and the Raiders win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Oh my God! Hey, just stay gone at that point, bro. Just stay gone.
Hey, I'm gonna take one for the team, man. I'll let y'all enjoy. But yeah, man, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff, man.
You guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, X, IG, Kick, Twitch, True Social, everywhere. The Severe Raider, holla at your boy. Tuesdays and Thursdays, my guy PharoahNFL, 50-50 show and Around the Shield Wednesdays. Raider War Room, my guy 805 who's in the chat, and Chris from Protect the Shield, man. Make sure you tap in with your boys. And fun off season so far, man. Fun off season. Hope springs eternal. We shall see what that leads to, but right now, everything is coming up roses.
Yeah, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. We'll be back here later this week, man. Around the Shield, definitely follow all over social media as well. Subscribe to both our channels, all that good stuff. And obviously 50-50 show next week on Tuesday. That should tell me he's willing to take a risk, come down to Vegas.
This is the worst place. That's like holding Alcoholic Anonymous in a liquor store.
Hey, I'm glad. Hey, look, now that we know the truth about hosts, like, damn, like, I'm glad it's not. It didn't happen with the Raiders. Like, they didn't find out that he was gambling. But yeah. But you know what's crazy is everything that he's being accused of happened his freshman year.
Yeah, he was at Indiana.
Yeah, he was at Indiana, and he wasn't even. I don't think he was playing. Was he playing?
He probably didn't have nothing to do, bro. He was probably bored as hell.
And he was betting on them to win too. I think that's what he was trying to say. Like, I wasn't really trying. I don't know, man. That's a crazy. I don't know if he can recover from that, especially a quarterback gambling. Like, they're gonna, because the NFL, you know how the NFL is. Like, they're gonna, like, just because you didn't get punished in college, they're gonna find a way to. You ain't gonna play for 2-3 years.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at that. People, man, this money check, bro. People be having the dumbest. Like, he was clocked at 20. So if you do the math, like, you know what? Money check. My car was clocked at 75 miles per hour. So you know what that means? That means my car goes from 0 to 60 in 1 second. Like, that's not how it works, dog. That's not how it effing works, dog. God damn.
Hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through, man. Appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, in the building, man. Money check, man. Appreciate you coming through. 805 LS. Everybody pulling up, man. We appreciate everybody coming through and staying late. TK, everybody watching. If you guys watching the replay, definitely leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on the show, the conversation, all that good stuff. If you see the hype button, definitely hit the hype button. Helps out with the algorithm, all that good stuff. Any last thoughts before we head out of here, Severe?
Nah, man. Hey, reading is fundamental. Keep your kids in school, man. Keep your kids in school.
Man, you play too much, man. All right, y'all, man. We'll see y'all next time, man. We'll see y'all Thursday. Peace.